call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
So, another beautiful day on the way. Another
from Big Apple Music.
Another beautiful tomorrow on the way. Hi, Pete. Another a decent day for Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day weekend. And today we're going to get up there in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. Mid-70s tomorrow. A little cooler Sunday, but sun and clouds. So that's not a bad forecast. Coming up this morning, we'll speak with Willie Waffle in a little bit. Jeff Garrell, the owner of Vernon Downs. Let's get to the bottom of this. What's going on? Syracuse, the Post-Standard has now picked up the story of Vernon Downs closing down. Good morning, Davey, sitting in for Jeff during these moments.
Good morning, Bill.
I guess Jeff had a mishap this morning where maybe his dog was sprayed by a skunk.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, bad.
Can I just say
I hope he doesn't smell.
Can I just say something about Jeff? We all both know he's a great guy to work for. But I went to my nephew's modified 7-8-year-old ball game yesterday in Rome, and Jeff was the ump. He did a phenomenal job.
He did.
Even though he was by himself, he did an awesome job.
I thought you were going to say, as an umpire, he just stinks to high
No.
heaven.
He did an awesome job. Even though
nice.
Howell Patton ended up beating my nephew's team 8-5, but
I'm excited about this morning. We have you guys ended up losing the game.
Yeah, I was.
He couldn't have done something. Jeff couldn't have done something to, make a few bad calls to put him in the. No, he wouldn't do that.
I was kind of torn because I graduated from Howell Patton.
Okay.
And my nephew goes to RFA, so
you were a bit torn.
Yeah.
Deep inside, way deep, you might have been cheering.
Yeah.
Jeff Garrell is on. He is, of course, the owner of Tioga Downs and Vernon Downs. And there, as I said, this is a story we've had all week long talking about the potential of Vernon Downs closing down, and they're looking for these tax credits. If they don't get the tax credits, it could be sayonara for Vernon Downs, which, by the way, was a horse that won a while back at Vernon Downs. Sayonara. Interesting. Jeff Garrell, owner of Vernon Downs, will be on later on this morning, trying to keep the track alive. Also, Utica School Board race coming up next week. That's going to be interesting. In studio is John Martosha. We'll speak with him this morning. And also Mike Hennessy, who's planning legal action to get back on the ballot in the United County Executives race. And that was, he was removed based on signatures. And I've heard from allies that the signatures were a bit of a mess. However, it came down to like 14 or 15 signatures. So it's close. It's so close. You hate to see him pulled off the ballot for that. However, the rules are the rules, so they say. So we'll see what comes of that this morning. Also, Willie Waffle later on in the hour. We'll get to that story. And the video that we have up on our website, and we're one of the few that have the video. You can check it at WIBX950.com. And it is the inmate in Utica running down the road, running down Oriskany Street, had escaped. Did you know, and it's now been released, did you know there were 2 inmates that had escaped? That wasn't a part of the story, I didn't think, was it?
No, they released that yesterday.
Yeah. There were actually 2. One had escaped just before this guy. And so there had to have been a bit of maybe a bit of a chaotic situation there, right?
Right.
I would expect. Let's see, what else do we have that I want to get to that's just worth. There has been a case, and this is not necessarily here, but keep an eye on this because this could have a huge effect on our area. A jury has awarded nearly $100 million to an upstate New York man out in the Rochester area who accused a former Catholic priest of child sex abuse. The Democrat and Chronicle reporting this story today. The victim was awarded $95 million Wednesday after he alleged Reverend Foster P. Rogers sexually abused him in the priest's car back in 1979, in July of 1979. The man, who has not been identified, lives in the Rochester area, was 15 years old at the time. The award includes $30 million for past pain and suffering, $15 million for future pain and suffering, and $50 million in punitive damages. It's $95 million. One of the largest awards in New York State since the Child Victims Act opened a one-year window for civil lawsuits from past victims of childhood sex abuse. And an Erie County woman was awarded $100 million earlier in the month under the same act, according to WGRZ. Do you have it all over you?
Can you smell it?
I can't smell anything yet.
That's all I can smell.
Ah, lovely.
And it's more of... Ugh, it's disgusting.
By the way, $95 million. And where that could could affect us is the possibility that that sets the standard for these cases. Wow. Manaski is in after his mishap. He let the dog out, and...
Yeah, she got sprayed by a skunk. Unbelievable.
So where do you that's the hardest part, is after that happens, where do you put the dog?
She's in the basement right now. I don't know what else to do with her, but the whole back hall smells. That's all I can smell.
Yeah, I can't smell it on you.
That's good. I changed. I actually slept in this T-shirt, to be honest with you, because I panicked once I got stuff all over me. I got sweatpants on. My sneakers aren't even tied.
It's hard to it's hard to get out once the smell gets into your really into your nostrils. It's brutal. But it is hey, it's that time of year.
So it's always something with her. On the story about the lawsuit, is that a personal claim, or is that what the like?
No, that's not a
the
that's not
XX
a class
sales
action.
church.
No, that is a he's not suing the award. The church is going to have to come up with the money.
Oh yeah, well, there's no wonder there's no Catholic churches left. Whatever's left is going to be gone when they.
Well, if there's a church that has the means, it's probably the it would be the Catholic Church. But this is, and I don't know how they do it. If that comes directly from each diocese, I don't know how that's necessarily done. But I can say that, Davey, before you go, I want your opinion on this story. I can say that that's a lot of money. But you know what these people went through is horrific. Davey, did you know the Bills Chargers matchup, which is going to be on what is the date of that? December 23rd. So that's going to be a holiday matchup.
2 days before Christmas.
That is true. Yeah, thank you for that. Do you know that the game, the only place you'll be able to see the game is on the Peacock Network?
Oh, I have Peacock, so I'm in good shape.
What is interesting, though, is it's beginning to happen. Up to this point, when there would be a streaming game, a game that's on one of the streaming services, you'd always be able to flip over to NFL Network or somewhere else to be able to get the game. The only way you'll be able to watch this game is on the Peacock Network. So if you don't have it, you will. Davey has it. He's A-OK. Oh. But if you don't have it, you will not be able to watch the game.
I've had Peacock ever since the WWE went to their streaming service on Peacock.
That's
the only reason why I have Peacock.
But the significance, though, is if it was a network that you didn't have, you would have to get that network. And for all those people that don't have Peacock, they want to watch the game, they're going to have to watch it there. And how does that work? Does it get blacked out if, let's say, you buy the NFL package, and which is going to be, by the way, on YouTube for people, and that's going to cause a whole other problem. We'll get into that coming up in a second. But do you get the game through there, or is it blacked out on the NFL Network or the NFL package?
I know when the Yankees go on Amazon Prime or Apple, they don't have it on Yes Network.
Well, that would be.
They have baseball. Once they have baseball every Sunday morning on Peacock at 11:15. There's a game of the week every Sunday.
Yeah, and it's only available there.
Only available on Peacock.
Well, this is the way of the future right here.
I know. Yeah, we were so happy to cut the cord, and then you realize you have to have 19 different streaming services to watch every
problem.
game.
So go ahead.
That's like the Country Music Awards were last night. They weren't on cable.
Oh, they weren't. I didn't know.
They were
that.
on Amazon
They were on
Prime.
Oh, okay.
On Prime Video.
And was that the only place you could watch it?
Yeah, I'm a little upset because I couldn't watch them. But
we are. This is the big change that's happening, and you're right. It's all of a sudden the problem is you got to have all of these extra services, and all of them charge for the most part. And here's the other thing. So for bars that show the games, so if you're a sports bar and you have several games, you know there's not a package, an NFL package put together yet for them, and they will not be able to legally stream through YouTube, so they can't sign up on YouTube, which will probably be, I don't know, a couple $100, maybe $300 for the season. But you can't stream the game via YouTube in a business, in a bar. So they're going to come up with a special package. But here's where this comes into play. So if you're streaming the NFL package, what do they call it? It's the whatever. If you're streaming the full package and you
NFL ticket,
and you have the NFL ticket in your bar, imagine what you would have to do. The way this is currently set up, this poses huge problems. You would need a YouTube account for every game on every TV, and it becomes difficult to split off when you're streaming like this. I mean, you can, but there are all sorts of problems that occur, such as syncing problems and audio problems. If you've ever tried to split off like that, it's an issue. But the way it's set up right now, there is no program for them. So chances are that's going to end up going maybe back to DirecTV, because otherwise these businesses would not have the bandwidth to be able to put 5 games up and stream them all at the same time. You'd have freezing. It would be, I can just tell you, this is a disaster waiting to happen.
I feel like the NFL, what they probably did was, the way they look at it is probably, they're willing to pay us how much for this? Okay, we'll figure out what the user fee is later, or how we fix the user fee later. But if they're willing to give us X amount of dollars to do this, let's just do it.
Well, and I think you're right, and I don't think the whole thing has been necessarily figured out. So, I do think at some point they're going to have to put a deal together because what you have is when DirecTV or whichever type service, maybe it's Spectrum or whatever, when they come in, they give a commercial system. Set them up with a commercial system where it distributes multiple channels all at the same time. Whereas your internet, you just don't have that. Also mentioning the Bills, it's expected that the Bills will end up playing on Thanksgiving Day, although I don't know if that's been set as of yet. Josh Allen says he would be glad to play on Thanksgiving Day, but he said, I think our fans have watched enough Thanksgiving games from their houses, said Allen, where if we have a home game, at least now it's in their backyard and they can come to the game and we can enjoy Thanksgiving together as one big Bills Mafia family. He said it's time for a home Bills game on Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of cool, I think, if you're a Lions fan or a Cowboys fan, you get to have that Thanksgiving game every year. And it is always at home. It does kind of limit it. Where typically on the other holidays or, any other primetime type game, it's not always in the same place. I mean, you'd be disrupting tradition. But is he saying for 1 year, or they want to be a staple on Thanksgiving like the Lions and the Cowboys?
At the very least, he's focused on 1 year.
Okay.
All right. Richard, a comment here this morning. I have to listen to this con artist again. He can GTH. Oh, Gota. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's he talking about?
He's talking about Jeff Garrell. He's running a dom at Vernon. The racing industry they offer is dead, and harness racing has been dead for 20 years. And the food sucks, says Richard. The attendance is like 200 a night. Only race Friday and Saturday nights, and he doesn't employ 249. I don't know what he's saying here. He's counting the horsemen, which he doesn't pay. Okay, that's probably half or more than he's counting. They go elsewhere if needed. He's just trying to continue to con the state, close the place down. Wow, I don't know many people that are saying that.
No, and I don't know exactly how the employment breaks down, but if he's saying
that when he tells when he talks about how many people are employed there, he's including the racers and he doesn't pay them.
But when he says,
but they would be out of a job.
He said 250, and half of that is the horseman that he doesn't pay. I just can't imagine they only have 125 people employed between the track, the VLTs, and the Racino. They have dining rooms. They do banquets there, and they have a hotel. There's no way that's only 125 employees who take care of all that.
Don't know the answer to that. Let's see, Wayne. Why weren't they cuffed at the floor or the seat? Talking about those escaped felons. That's really interesting. How we're now learning there were 2 inmates who escaped the other day.
Yeah, and I guess this other person, Christopher Spain, only got 20 feet away, 15 feet away. He got a couple strides
they stopped
in, if you
him,
will.
but that was enough of a distraction to inspire the other guy who got out the door, who ended up out the door.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. So we got a message yesterday in a similar regard that said basically the incident happened. So this came in the show late in the show yesterday. This incident happened yesterday at 12:30, so meaning Wednesday. The sheriff hasn't figured out what went wrong yet. I can't imagine your boss not knowing what went wrong if you blinked the wrong way. They're trained to investigate, and they couldn't get to the bottom of this yet. No wonder there's such a problem at the jail. He should have just said, I can't talk about this as a disciplinary problem in the process. He kind of said that they're under investigation.
Yeah, I didn't take it in a negative way there.
24 hours, that's not that long in the investigative
My
world.
guess is there are members of the force who are investigating this, and there will then be a report given to the sheriff, and then decisions will be made. But something I'm assuming, and even the sheriff said we have to determine if mistakes were made.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
and I think the way he worded it was, and we'll learn from those and plow forward, which was what I would expect the sheriff to say in that case. Mike this morning on commenting, looks like everybody's going to be at Davies' house on the 23rd. We're all going to Davies to watch the Bills game. And also with Martosha in today, I wonder if Martosha will march into the studio with an aborted fetus sign. He is one of those people that you see standing out. And I give those guys credit. I mean, I hate it, to be honest with you. I always look the other way when I'm driving by.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if you have kids in your car. It's like, God, what are we looking at here? And I do give, if you believe that strongly in something, you're willing to stand out in the cold and the rain and march up and down the street every day. I guess you are standing up for what you believe in, right? I got to give you some credit
Sure.
for that.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a few more, and then we'll talk to Willie Waffle coming up. A Minnesota man is now being looked upon as a genius, although there are others saying, I can't believe you would waste like this. Here's the story. A Minnesota man has used a keg and a heating coil to make what he believes to be the first ever beer-powered motorcycle. His name is Kai Michelson. Now, there are some saying, brilliant, this is just brilliant, but others saying, wow, what a waste. Here's Kai Michelson and his son, Buddy, talking about making the booze-powered vehicle. Here is audio.
The people who know me, they always kind of expect something a little bit different from me that comes out of the shop. One thing about this motorcycle is definitely different. I don't drink. I'm a non-drinker, so I can't think of anything better than to use it for fuel.
Yeah, it can be any kind of liquid. It can be Red Bull, it can be Caribou coffee, it could be anything. But beer, why not?
We got it running. We got it built, and I think it looks pretty cool.
All right.
So the engine runs off the beer, or they power the motor. They power the motorcycle, and they need to get drunk to do it. I know the one guy just said he doesn't drink, but I don't get it. Can I run my car off beer?
They use he says it uses the alcohol in the beer to run somehow to run the motorcycle.
And he's got a translator or something that converts it, a converter of some kind?
Well, there must be some sort of a converter in order to make that happen.
I can't just pour like a bottle of beer in my...
I would not do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't go doing that. Have you seen the photos of the bear in East Herkimer?
Yes.
I got to say, this is like the third or fourth, recent in the last year or so, sighting that I recall. Is there a bear issue? There must be. The bears must be coming down from the Adirondacks closer into Herkimer County.
Well, so let me ask, when you were growing up, you didn't hear about this stuff? It wasn't like you'd have this a couple times a year?
We would see bears in like Speculator, but I didn't, it wasn't as, I don't remember hearing a lot of stories about bears. Now, they would make their way down, but, it's just not as common.
I'm just wondering if
I feel
this
like
is
East Herkimer has been a bit of a hot spot for these bear sightings.
I'm just wondering if it's like the shark attack type thing, where we hear about it, a couple instances, and it's more than we typically do, so it seems like there's more encounters, if you will. But at the same time, I don't really remember hearing about that. And typically, I mean, even if you're at a campsite where you expect to see a bear, people will flip out when a bear, comes in, starts sniffing around.
Well, yeah, and depending on where the what kind of appetite the bear currently has, it's probably not a bad idea to be a little bit intimidated by that. Here's Tom in Utica. Hi, Tom. Good morning.
Yeah, Kai Michelson's a friend of mine, and we're involved in many motorsports activities.
Okay.
Way back into the early 1970s. And he's out of Minnesota. They call him Rocket Man, and he's locally. Back when we were having the Boonville speed trials up at the Boonville Airport, where all kinds of exotic snowmobiles were brought in. Kai was the builder of Boss Cat 1, 2, and 3, and Boss Cat, I believe Boss Cat 1 exploded on the starting line at the Boonville Airport, and driver Dale Cormican suffered a broken back in the accident, and it just devastated the starting line up there at the Boonville Airport. But Michelson has come up with quite a few
unique little,
and I've got a lot of that coverage. I'll ship over some of that coverage for you so you can take a look at it.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. And how do you? Maybe you can reach out to him. We'd love to get him on and have him explain how this serves as fuel. How the beer serves as fuel for his motorcycle.
Yeah, I'll get to him on Facebook.
All right, good deal. All right, Tom.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tom.
How about that? Joe Load, good morning.
Well, beer's been serving as fuel for me for a long time.
I saw you pushing something on Facebook on I guess it was Instagram. You were.
Oh, yeah. That was just a memory from when I was working out at MB Wellness, and I was pushing the trainer on a sled that was already loaded to the top with weights, so I couldn't put any more weight on, so she sat on it.
Yeah, it was. But I'm not sure she put all that much weight on it. She looked tiny.
Yeah, she was tiny.
Yeah.
But you'll remember back in the day, Steve Tooney took a picture of me and put it in the, I think it was the Telegram at the time, right? Did he work for the Telegram, Steve Tooney?
Yes.
And he wrote an article. I was throwing the shot put, and he says, Joe Leonard is the archetypical shot put and discus man with a body designed for moving objects, not sprinting down an all-weather track.
Boy, wasn't that the truth.
I remember it to this day. That was the quote.
That was definitely the truth.
I wanted to feel about the bears real quick. If you've noticed in East Herkimer, there's a corridor that they follow because the moose have been spotted in East Herkimer as well.
Really?
So there must be a game route that is followed from the North Country down to East Herkimer, and that's why they're seeing a lot of bear. But up here in Oneida County, and actually parts of northern Herkimer County, Cold Brook, Ohio, there's bear all over.
Oh, yeah, up there. And
even here in Deerfield, there's bear,
Well, I mean, there was recently a spotting in New Hartford, so but I wonder why they're coming down. And people say, well, it's because the land is overdeveloped. And I don't know. The Adirondacks is still a vast, just mile after mile after mile of woods. So it's got to be something else. Or maybe they were always down here and we just didn't pay attention.
You want my answer?
I
maybe
do.
Somebody from the DEC will call and complain about me. But my answer is this. In Maine, they actually bait and hunt bears, okay? They have a season. It's regulated. You go to Maine, they can hunt bears over bait. In New York State, we don't allow that. So all of our bear hunters mostly go to Maine to hunt bears, and we push money out of our state again. But that's a different story. But what happens is the bear population is not being controlled in New York State, and there's more bear probably than there were 10, 20 years ago by double. And they're around this area. Now, if the DEC would get their head out of there, you know what, and start letting us bait bear and control the population, we wouldn't have this problem in New Hartford. There you go. There's my answer.
All right.
Well, hang on. Here we go. Because John,
that makes sense. So there are more bear than is it bears or bear?
Bears.
That we would than we had when we were kids. That I guess makes sense.
It's actually dub bears.
Bears.
But John in Deerfield says there are bears everywhere around Utica. There are sightings regularly in Deerfield, and there were. I don't understand this part. There were special permits issued last year to farmers near Steuben Hill State Forest in Schuyler because of the black bear population. Now, special permits, that allowed them to hunt them? Or that?
No, it basically gives the farmers the right to shoot them, but only that farmer. It's just like when they give out nuisance permits for deer. The farmers get them and they just drop the deer. They might eat them, they might not. I mean, they might just leave them there just because they're killing their crops. But again, the DEC needs to regulate things better. If you're listening out there, please listen.
Joe, can you say it one more time, but slower? Say it slower this time.
Joe, and one more. Are there wolves out there after all?
There are mountain lions, and they brought them and introduced them into the Adirondacks. Yeah. They'll maybe deny it, though maybe not. Maybe they'll brush it off and say, "Oh, it's a big dog." Nope, there's wolves.
Okay,
and there are mountain lions.
All right, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Of course, representing the DEC this morning unofficially. Okay, thank you, Joe. Have a great day.
And one more here. Tom in Rome says, speaking of wild animals, he says on our football conversation, Peacock is free.
Oh, Peacock is free.
Yeah, I know there's a free version,
right,
but I thought there was a pay version.
I don't think we pay for it. Do you pay for it, Davey?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do? Yeah, I do.
Well, I have to pay $9.99 a month for the WWE.
$9.99 a month is what he says he pays.
And that's just for
WWE.
For WWE, because that's where you get all that content.
I see. So he's paying for the WWE, not necessarily Peacock.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Couple more. Wow. What was the final score of Denver last night? Anybody? Can you look that up?
Yeah.
Man, I got to tell you something. My son is out in Denver, and he said the team that everybody is not looking at because they play in the wee hours of the morning is the Denver Nuggets. He feels the Denver Nuggets are the best team in the NFL or the NBA.
Well, he could be right. Now, they finished off their series against the Suns. Keep in mind, though, that Nikola Jokic is a two-time MVP, I believe. I think he won it last year, but he got back-to-back MVPs. And I believe they are the odds-on favorite in Vegas to win it all. But they get much less attention, he's right, because their games are going until 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, people aren't. The Northeast, the New York media is not paying attention. With these bears showing up, says Mike, it's a good idea to take down your bird feeders, which you had up over the winter. Bears love bird food and will be drawn to them. Also, do not leave your picnic baskets out in your backyard or Yogi will show up.
Hey, boo-boo.
And do not let your dog out first thing in the morning because there are skunks out there. That's the Manaski. And then, Rob, one more comment on those inmates who escaped from the courthouse. They escaped. Mistakes were made by someone. And you're right. I mean, what he's saying is if they escaped, there must have been a mistake. Okay, let's keep it going. Can I? Willie Waffle on the line right now. Willie, good morning.
That is always the greatest excuse ever. Well, mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made. And you know what? We're going to get better. We're going to get better because of them. Yeah, I mean, we're human. People are human, and chances are when something goes wrong, chances are mistakes have been made. I'm afraid. Yeah. Now, I think this mistake is the writer's strike. That is going to be the big mistake because it's going to force these streaming services and the networks to make changes that are going to last a lifetime, and we're going to see a change in programming and the way you watch TV. This might also have the big final effect, and I say final because we're right in those stages where your local TV station is splitting from network television. It's beginning already. This may be the final effect here, the final stage of all of this.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think this is going to change the industry in some way that maybe we haven't even imagined yet.
Right.
The writer's strike is not going to end soon. The studios and the television networks know that the Directors Guild is their contract is coming up pretty soon too. So they almost are going to try to play both groups off of each other. See who they can get the best deal from, and then go to the other group and say, hey, the directors took it, so why aren't you taking it? Hey, the writers took it, why aren't you taking it? So and it is already starting to have an impact on production. For people who are big fans of Stranger Things, it's gonna get delayed. The creators, the Duffer Brothers, announced this week they're stopping production. They said that they can't do so in good conscience when there's a writer's strike because they write the show while they're producing the show. They change things. They change lines. They change stories. And therefore, since they can't do that because they're on strike, they're not going to be producing the show.
Right.
So now Stranger Things is going to be delayed. Another big Netflix program, Cobra Kai, they stopped production this week for the same reason. So, even your streamers who have been relying so much on, created content and original content, now they're going to face the same challenges that television networks face. And the one answer that everybody turns to, and I think you're going to see this in the fall more than ever, live sports. I'm telling you, you're going to start getting every sport you can imagine through every streaming platform you can imagine. Networks are going to be showing more sports than ever because, hey, you don't need writers for it, and it's the one must-see appointment-based television that we still have.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It is. That's a great point. I mean, think about it. Used to be like, 1 o'clock on Sunday, you're watching your game. 11:30 at night, Johnny Carson is on, right? I mean, that was appointment television. Everybody in the masses sat down to watch that.
New episode of a show, everybody watched it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep. NBC Thursday night, must-see TV.
You're right.
Cosby's on at 8, Family Ties at 8:30, Cheers at 9, Night Court at 9:30. I mean, and there was no, I'll watch it tomorrow on the stream. I'll just binge it over the weekend. It was watch it or you're going to miss a chance.
Yeah. Now, what's happening? I believe Yellowstone, which is a program so many people just became feverishly in love with. This was an awesome show, and advertisers fell in love with this show as well. In fact, this was kind of a unique thing they were kind of toying with during this series, is the cast members would actually do commercials that would kind of fall in line with the theme that would show up during the whole thing. All that is going to be going away, though, isn't it?
Yeah, they made the official announcement that Yellowstone is going to end this fall, this November. The final part of Season 5 will air. and then immediately after, a Yellowstone sequel, allegedly probably starring Matthew McConaughey, will debut in December. Now, this is big news, like you said. Yellowstone is one of the most popular programs out there. I am going to go out on a limb right now, and I'm going to say I don't know how they're going to premiere in November. With the strike going on, with the rumors going on that Taylor Sheridan, who's the creator and the writer of the show, has no scripts done, all the fighting with Kevin Costner. Now Kevin Costner's got a divorce in the way. I don't know if that's going to happen in November.
Wow. I don't know how they could. Well, a lot of it, if this thing could wrap up right away, but there's no end in sight on the strike, right?
Right, and I hate to say it, but I think the only way that it could premiere in November is if Taylor Sheridan simply just breaks the strike and is secretly writing at home, and just when the strike ends in 3 months, he shows up on the set and goes, "Oh yeah, I did all these on April 30th, right before the strike started. I just had them in my safe." Yeah.
I would ask you, Willie, do you feel the end of this program of Yellowstone is they could end it in the way, almost the way the Murdaugh family, this trial has ended. I mean, you think about it, this was a family that basically ruled the land and did so for generations and generations, but then somehow the modern day version of the family blew everything up. And that's what happened with Murdaugh and his family. It's like this whole thing has been blown up over there. It's kind of what I think could be the conclusion of Yellowstone.
Yeah, and I think what's going to be interesting is they truly are going to treat the new show like a sequel to Yellowstone. And they're already talking about some of the characters from Yellowstone will be in the sequel. So some of those storylines will probably cross over. So these two shows could be more tied together in ways that I think a lot of fans will be very, very happy.
Mike says with this writer's strike, I can finally start watching those Pakistani cricket games I love so much. All right, let's talk about these are all movies. Let's see, there's one in theaters you have here. Book Club, the next chapter. What do you think?
Oh, God. This is like the Golden Girls go to Italy or something. I mean, Candice Bergen, Jane Fonda, Mary Steenburgen, Diane Keaton. We remember in the first book club, all of their lives were aroused after they read a very famous book. Well, now they're going off to Italy. One of them's getting married. One of them's having problems with her husband. One of them just can't get enough. And, so it's just really kind of just crazy sitcom-type adventures. I mean, all four of them are very talented. All four of them are very funny. Yeah. So, I'll go like 2 waffles. I think it's a decent thing. The thing I'm excited about, I'm just going to lead right into it, the Disney Plus series, Muppets Mayhem.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It is a 10-episode series where Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, it turns out they owe a small little label that's dying. They owe them an album, and a young record executive decides this is how she's going to save the label, and little does she know how impossible it is to work with the Muppets.
Wow. So if you grew up with the Muppets, this is all brand new content for you.
Yeah, all brand new content. Now, it is leaning towards being, a kids series, with all the Muppet adventures. But I think it's hilarious. I think that they kind of overdo it, trying to involve some of the human characters when we really just care about the Muppets. So I'm going to say 3 waffles here.
And then quickly, 10 seconds, The Mother on Netflix movie.
Yeah, Netflix movie. Jennifer Lopez is an assassin on the run who now has to protect the daughter who never met her. Right. Yeah, it's exactly what you expect. 1.5 waffles.
All right, Willie, have a great week. We'll talk next week. Thank you, man.
All right, talk to you next week.
Right. Willie Waffle, WIBX Utica, Rome. It's 7 o'clock.
The surge at the border. CJ Papa, Fox News.
This is absolutely a disaster, a humanitarian crisis, the #1 threat to our national security.
Kansas Senator Roger Marshall at the southern border witnessing the end of Title 42.
Migrants, they've been traveling for weeks to meet the end of Title 42 right there at the border. The White House releases this, saying starting tonight, people who arrive at the border without using a lawful pathway will be presumed ineligible for asylum. The border is not open. People who do not use available lawful pathways to enter the U.S. now face tougher consequences, including a minimum 5-year ban on re-entry and potential criminal prosecution. This comes after the White House released a plan that would allow the temporary release of migrants into the U.S. without court dates and without a means to track them. It was a last-minute tactic to try to ward off overcrowding in detention centers as thousands have waited on the Mexican side of our border for the COVID-era policy to expire.
Fox's Alexandria Huff. A federal judge temporarily blocks the Biden administration's attempt to speed up the release of migrants when Border Patrol stations are full, the holding stations. The judge slaps a 2-week restraining order stopping border officials from using what's known as parole with conditions that would let migrants into the U.S. with no court date. Texas Congressman Chip Roy.
They don't really care about the rule of law at all. They're ignoring existing law, dumping people into the United States, endangering Texans, endangering migrants at the same time.
The Republicans speaking to Fox News. A planned meeting between President Biden and congressional leaders on the debt ceiling set for today postponed until next week.
But I truly believe here, looking at the actions of this president, he doesn't want a deal. He wants a default. And the American people do not deserve that.
Now, Speaker Kevin McCarthy speaking to reporters on Capitol Hill at the CMA Awards. Chris Stapleton wins Entertainer of the Year at last night's Academy of Country Music Awards. America is listening to Fox News.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-283-2230. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-283-2230 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. That's 800-283-2230 to see if you qualify. That's 800-283-2230.
We have mostly clear skies and 54 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. This news update is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Well, while the investigation continues into the escape incident outside the Utica City Courthouse this week, authorities have charged a second inmate for an attempt to run off. Christopher Spain, a 35-year-old Utican, has been charged with escape in the third degree. That's a misdemeanor under state law. Spain was among the inmates transported from the county jail for an appearance in city court on Wednesday. It's alleged that when Mitchell Clark started to book it and wound up running down a portion of Oriskany Street before being apprehended again, Spain had also made an attempt to get away. Spain is accused of running away from the county sheriff's transport team as they were set to reboard a van to take them back to prison. The sheriff's office says, though, he only made it a few feet before he was caught by authorities. Wednesday afternoon's moment of chaos was partially captured by a civilian motorist and can be seen on our website. Clark was tagged with a felony-level escape charge for attempting to spring to freedom. Sheriff Rob Maciel says the charge against Spain came as authorities reviewed the incident to determine what went wrong that allowed both men to try and run away from correctional officers. There's a new development in the ongoing legal battle over the Interstate 81 construction project in Syracuse. A state Supreme Court judge ruling yesterday that a group called Renew 81 for All will not get another chance to argue their case in court. The group filed a lawsuit against the State Department of Transportation, which claimed the agency did not follow environmental laws when deciding to build an over $2 billion street-level community grid to replace the overhead highway. The overpass is not expected to come down for years. The father of a child who brought a weapon to school has been arrested on multiple charges. Oswego County deputies say the 8-year-old child of 34-year-old Robert Weaver showed the gun to a fellow student on a bus on Tuesday. The handgun did not have any ammunition inside and was inoperable. The child is not facing any charges, but Weaver is charged with child endangerment and criminal possession of a weapon. Records show that Weaver is being held in the Oswego County Jail. New York State Attorney General Letitia James suing a gun accessory manufacturer for allegedly helping the Buffalo mass shooter. The AG has filed a lawsuit against Mean LLC, which manufactures an MA lock that is supposed to limit the amount of ammunition in a semi-automatic weapon. In the Buffalo shooter's manifesto, he wrote that he was able to easily remove that lock from the AR-15 that he used and add 30 rounds of detached magazines. Now, James alleges that Mean LLC falsely advertises that installing an MA lock on a weapon makes high-capacity weapons legal in New York. That lawsuit aims to bar the company from doing business in the Empire State. And 3 people taken to the hospital following a small plane crash in Albany County yesterday. Officials say the accident happened at the South Albany Airport. The aircraft was found at the south end of the runway in a grassy area. No word yet on how badly those involved were injured. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast, another gorgeous day on tap today, and your forecast comes to you from Eyewitness News.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center today. Mostly to partly sunny, warmer. Again, the small risk of a spotty shower well to the north and northeast, a high near 80. Tonight, mostly cloudy, mild, low of 54. And tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds early, then becoming mainly sunny, breezy, not as warm, but still nice and mild, a high near 75. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Clear skies, already 54 degrees. WIBX news time is 7:07. All right, in sports, you believe they lost again yesterday?
Cannot score any runs. I mean, if you look in the last 10 games, how many runs the Mets have scored, it is pathetic based on their lineup. Pathetic.
Shutout again yesterday. The Mets lose. They're now 18-20 on the season. And they begin a 4-game series against the Nationals tonight in Washington. And Nagel sent us a funny screenshot last night. As of last night, the 4 starters for that game, for that series against the Nationals, were unknown. They didn't have one starter known for the next 4 games. Unbelievable. The Yankees' 3-game winning streak came to an end. They lost 8-2 to the Rays in the Bronx last night. Domingo Germán was charged with the loss. Gleyber Torres drove in both of the Yankee runs with a 2-run single in the 9th, which broke up the shutout. The Bronx Bombers now last in the AL East at 21-18. They continue their 4-game series against the Rays tonight. Again, that's in the Bronx. Now, the entire 2023 NFL schedule is out. The Jets are kicking off the season at home when they host the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. Gang Green will also be the feature on Sunday Night Football, and they play a Black Friday game for the first time ever as they host the Miami Dolphins. Hockey, the Devils season comes to an end. New Jersey dropped Game 5 3-2 in overtime to the Carolina Hurricanes. Dawson Mercer opening the scoring in the first period to put the Devils up by a goal. But again, their season has come to an end. Akira Schmid stopped 36 of the 39 shots he faced in the loss. New Jersey is now eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. What else here? The Knicks hoping to extend their best-of-7 second-round series against the Heat tonight. New York will visit Miami for Game 6. They trail in the series 3-2. New York looking to force a winner-take-all Game 7 back at MSG. That would be scheduled for Monday night. Let's see. The Lakers planning to have their superstar big man on the court for Game 6. On Friday night, Anthony Davis officially listed as probable for the matchup, while against the defending champion Golden State Warriors, there was some concern that he may have suffered a concussion in the game the other night. WIBX News Time, 7:09. Ouch.
You okay over there?
I'm wounded.
Wounded man.
And all I smell, I can't believe you can't smell that.
I can't smell your Davey. You can't smell it either, right? There's no.
Nope, can't smell.
There's no
That's all I can
skunk smell coming from you. If you have back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, if you're dealing with severe pain, there is help. I'm speaking of Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgical Center in Utica. We were just there this week, and in dealing with the pain that my dad has been going through, Dr. Hyder used an injection. So it was not surgery. It was an injection, and it has made the world of difference. He's had a series of these injections, and I think the message is You don't have to live with the pain. You do not have to live with the pain. Pain can prevent you from eating, prevent you from sleeping, prevent you from walking. It can just destroy your life. You don't have to live with the pain. Reach out to them today. You can contact them at 315-765-8448. I've had more people ask me about Dr. Hyder. 315-765-8448, where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery. It's the Omni Surgery Center. 315-765-8448. The website is killpain.com.
Hi, I'm Pete from Big Apple Music, and whether it's your home or business, you have a lot invested. In the past, a camera surveillance system was an expensive luxury. Big Apple has now made it affordable. Big Apple is the area's leader when it comes to camera surveillance systems, having installed hundreds locally in homes and businesses. Big Apple is New York State licensed for security and camera surveillance, with most of our products sourced from American companies. Featuring Starlight Night Vision, our cameras dollar for dollar have the best night vision available. A camera surveillance system can offer full property coverage. It prevents and reduces crime, monitors high-risk areas like parking lots and showrooms, and Big Apple has a fully set-up showroom to give you real-time, realistic demonstrations of just how great a camera system can be for you. Stop in and see for yourself at Big Apple Music in New Hartford.
I'm Joe Hobaika, and I'm running for re-election to Utica's school board. Over the past year as school board president, I and the board majority made prompt corrections in order to save the Utica School District. We parted ways with people who weren't doing their jobs and filled positions with qualified people. We put safeguards in place to stop money from being spent improperly or even illegally. We eliminated no-show jobs, removed hostile work environments, and made it impossible to spend even a penny without proper oversight. Our four-member majority made selfless, tough decisions. It's been widely reported that our superintendent is currently on paid leave, and we recently accepted the results of an independent investigation. Now, those who want to blow up everything we fixed are trying to regain control of the board. This would be devastating. This Tuesday, there are 2 board seats open, and I'm asking for your vote. Please vote for me, Joe Hobaika. I'll also be voting for Jason Cooper. I promise you, every single vote counts.
Those April showers could bring May hot tubs. It's about time you treat yourself to a luxurious new spa from Strong Spas. Visit their huge showroom and choose from over 100 spas in stock and priced to move fast. This summer, get ready to relax. You deserve a brand new spa from Strong Spas. Visit their ginormous showroom inside Sangertown Square, New Hartford. Special financing available for credit qualified buyers. Strong Spas. Experience the difference for yourself. Hurry, these spas won't last.
Hi, I'm Joe Carbone. Welcome to Harley-Davidson and Power Sports of Utica. 35% off or 2-for-1 on all boots, hoodies, and big and tall. First bike night of the year, May 12th, with Showtime, Piggy Pants, plenty of cold beer. We'll see you there. Welcome to Power Sports of Utica, where you can take home a brand new C4 600 four-wheeler with all-wheel drive, a winch, and power steering for $65.99. And join us May 12th for our first bike night featuring Showtime, Piggy Pat's Barbecue, and plenty of cold beer.
Are you considering buying an electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid? Wouldn't it be nice to just fuel up at home with an EV charging station? Potentia is helping to make the convenience of charging easier for your home and your business. As a leader in green electrical projects, Potentia has completed hundreds of large sustainable commercial projects across New York State and are now getting into the residential market. No more stops at the gas station. Charge at home conveniently and economically. With New York State's zero emissions mandate by 2035, Potentia can help design, supply, even install residential and commercial EV charging systems at your home or your business. From permitting and design through the complete installation, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a turnkey EV charging solution with various packages and options available. They guarantee your satisfaction with all their products and their workmanship. Visit Potentia at 4685 Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford. Give them a call at 315-765-6184 or view their website at potentiamanagement.com.
Let's see, there's the business plan, vendors and inventory, licenses and applications, logos and signage, hired staff. Wait, what am I forgetting? The most important piece of the puzzle in business is your marketing. If you don't tell people about your business, how would they know it exists? These days, marketing has to include your online presence. Before anyone walks through the door, they've already checked you out online. So what did they find when they searched for you? Did you show up first? Does your website make a great first impression? Is it up to date? Chances are you don't know the first thing about web design or SEO, and that's okay. Town Square Utica has the solution to all of your digital needs. It's simple, fast, affordable, and it's free to check out. Just go to townsquareutica.com. You can even check out how many local customers in Utica are looking for products and services just like yours. Let us help you get people in the door so you can concentrate on making them return customers. Just go to townsquareutica.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. Friday morning is Mother's Day weekend. You know, I always make the mistake of, you try to get the gifts out of the way early, buy early. I am not good at that because when I end up getting it, I get excited about it and I end up giving it early.
And then you have nothing to give on Sunday
morning. And then
morning.
I have nothing to give, so you got to go back out and get something else.
That's true.
Big problem that I have, apparently. The Move to Mazda sales event is going on right now at Steve Ponte Mazda. And Ricky Z says, come on in. Just get in one of these vehicles. Test drive it. Just get into one of the vehicles and give it a feel. You're seeing a lot more on the road, and there's a reason for that. Right now, enjoy 2.9% APR financing up to 36 months on new 2023 Mazda CX-30s, CX-5s, and CX-50s. Enjoy 0% APR financing up to 36 months on the new 2023 Mazda CX-9s. It is their Move to Mazda sales event. It's going on right now from the dealership that has received first place. They've achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Manaski has comments.
Yes, this comes from Big Honey in Hecla. A comment that kind of sounds like it came from Bruce Karam. He says, never had any bears in Hecla, but there are definitely some pigs running around up here. Yeah. That was from Big Honey. I shared the comment about John and the bears. He said the special permits issued last year to farmers near Stu Bensville State Forest. Yeah.
Interesting.
I got a couple more here from yesterday. Hard for the county to recruit and keep employees because private agencies offer hybrid schedules, which make it much more attractive for potential employees. And
everybody's having that problem.
Yeah, absolutely they are. Also, Devin in Utica has a suggestion. Susan, you had shared a comment from Susan yesterday, and she was critical of you and your opinion, and essentially it was what? Don't listen to the show or don't go on the show.
Well, she said she wanted to have me removed from society, I believe is what she said.
Really?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, Devin says he thinks we should just run the show like Bruce Karam does the old school board meetings.
All right, good. Oh, that would be fun.
Okay.
No FCC rules or regulations. I like it. Other comments. Wayne, my answer for the bear population is pick them up and put them on buses and ship them to Texas and Florida. By the way, the Nuggets won that game, won the series, by the way. Final score last night, 125-100. Wow. And then Mike with another comment, and I'll take a phone call. 315-736-0186. How about this potential solution for migrants being bussed upstate? We accept a busload of migrants, which probably would be helpful for many of the farms where people don't want to work for the wage we currently pay. We load the bus with a like amount of homeless people that are up here and send them back down. We can use the hotel rooms that we are currently using for the housing, for the homeless problem. And chances are the people that are coming up here on the bus are very hardworking people and could help advance our community and society.
So somebody else had mentioned this to me, and I keep in mind, if I understand this correctly, there are agreements in place to bring, I'll say, migrant workers to the area. In fact, that happened a few months ago. Remember, there was a busload of them at New Hartford Hospital.
Yeah.
Or not, New Hartford Hotel.
Yeah.
And the reason I mention that is because aren't those considered documented workers? I mean, there's an arrangement in place to transport them from their home country up to upstate New York where they work for a set period of time.
All done legally. That's the problem. I mean, and I think that, who was it that was it was in the news, the national news. Actually, it was John Decker talking about how he spoke with the former head of Homeland Security under Obama, who said Biden's got to just come out and say there is no path to the United States illegally.
Right.
You must come. If you come legally, you will be processed. But if you're coming illegally, turn around because you will be returned. And that message should be announced over and over and over again to get that message out.
But he's not going to say that because that's racist.
Well, no, I think that's too long of a sentence.
That could be also
my opinion.
That's very well could be the case.
Stefan is on the line. He's been away for quite some time, and he is back. Good morning. What do you have there, Stefan? Good morning.
Well, hello, Bill.
Hello, Stefan. What's happening, man?
Now, I fell off the deep end. I committed a foul, and I should be thrown out of the game, and I'm sorry, Jeff.
Okay.
I think he's calling for you this morning. That's what I'm seeing on my screen here, that this is Stefan for Jeff.
Okay, so, all right. So we have to re-implement that rule, and we have to enforce it. Remember, like, if he misbehaved or got in trouble?
I was enforcing it. You were the one that...
Well, when he calls me, he tells me, can you run me to grab food? Well, I'm not going to take the call. I guess I won't take the call. All right, look, anytime you get in trouble, Stefan, I'm not taking your call. Okay, and in order to buy this one back because you had a couple of bad weeks here, you got to go 2 weeks without trouble. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Can't call the show, and I'm not taking you for food. Unless you're starving, then I feel like I have to take him for food. Right?
You probably have a lot of you have a lot of cats, don't you?
No, I don't have any cats.
That's shocking to me. Yeah, Stefan.
I have a dog that got sprayed by a skunk. That's what I have.
How did you end up where were you? You were back out in Boston or something, right?
Close by.
For what? A pool hall?
A pool hall, billiards.
And then actually was traveling and ended up in the wrong area and ended up in a facility for a few days.
Yeah, boy. All right, well, you deal with Jeff, okay?
So just one question. I just have one quick follow-up. So is there like a local college that has a women's traveling billiards team? Because that's typically how you end up at these sporting events or venues.
No, there is not. I go online and check them out and go to where they actually are.
All right. Well, you're on 2 weeks probation, okay?
Okay, I've been thrown out of the game.
All right, yes, you have.
Yeah.
You've been ejected with a follow-up suspension. By the way, hopefully the next time we speak, the Mets will be somewhere above 500. Fingers crossed.
Well, that would be nice. Okay, Stefan, you got to stop this crap, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day. There he goes.
Andrew Dominio chiming in. If you give a mouse a cookie. ...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a problem. What else did we that I wanted to squeeze in here this morning? Later on in this hour, we'll speak with Jeff Garrell with Vernon Downs, and some people have been critical. I do think that because listen. I think that it's the industry, the nightlife, et cetera, is competitive. It's very competitive. And I do think having Vernon Downs a part of this community is still very important. So I'm hoping that that people in Albany stand up and continue. It's not like they're giving them tax breaks is really what he's looking for, right? And we'll speak with Garrell about that coming up later on. Some people have been somewhat, like Richard this morning, a bit insensitive, saying no, don't ask for any more. We're not giving you any more. Either make the business work or shut it down. And that is a shame. Vernon Downs used to be a big attraction, but remember, right next door is the Giant.
Yeah,
and which has everything, but it doesn't have harness racing. So, but we'll speak with Garrell coming up in just a few minutes here this morning.
Yeah, and you talk about the competition with Turning Stone. I mean, not only is it competition because it's 10 minutes away, but it's one of the most renowned, highly acclaimed, awarded resorts in the Northeast, the entire country. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
That's a difficult thing to compete with. So, and certainly, it's not like it used to be up there. And I don't, certainly Turning Stone is part of that, but everybody throws some money, it seems, or is interested in the Derby and the Preakness, right, and the Triple Crown. But how many people, I think if you asked a lot of people today who live in this community, what's horse racing and what's harness horse racing, they wouldn't know that they tow a carriage when they run them up at Vernon Downs.
Have you ever been on one of those carriages behind the horse?
No. You have?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Look at my size. Of course I have. Right? I don't think you have to be little though to do harness racing. Do you? No. I'm assuming they don't want you to be big necessarily, but you don't have to be as small as the thoroughbred racing. But they used to do a media day, and we'd all get on and we'd race. Media from all over, Syracuse, Utica, all over the state.
They give you the whip?
Yeah, and we would actually, there wasn't anybody else on with us. You would.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It just sounds like it's such a liability today, right? I mean,
maybe that's why they don't do it anymore. Or maybe they do it now, but don't invite me. That's possible. That is possible. And now, listen, when you are a police officer, you are held to a higher standard,
and you should.
And I think we all agree, and police officers agree. It's part of the gig, right? A now former Florida police officer has been accused of stealing a dead man's credit card and using it to buy food, fast food, and eyelashes. I don't know.
Bizarre.
Diane Ferreira, you thought it was a man, didn't you? Till the eyelashes came up.
Yeah.
And then you were going somewhere else, but no. Diane Ferreira was on a call last month to a couple's home where the husband had died, and that's when she took the credit card.
Unbelievable.
Here is the Osceola County Sheriff, Marcos Lopez, holding a press conference about the accusations that have been made against this now former police officer.
The information uncovered during this investigation shocked and appalled me. It directly violates everything that I expect and demand from our law enforcement officers. She was arrested with her handcuffs before being transported to jail. The badge she wore in her uniform is tarnished and will never be issued again. In fact, it's going to be destroyed.
Wow.
How much did she end up getting away with?
I don't know. Well, it couldn't have been that much because she bought fast food, as we said, and eyelashes. And I don't believe eyelashes are that expensive.
It's only $1 for a large beverage over there at McDonald's. So
yeah, so I don't think she got away with that. But it doesn't matter how much she got away with. It's the fact that she did it.
Oh, there's no question.
Terrible.
I was just curious about if every day she was getting a number 6 or something, and over time it had accumulated. But, no, absolutely. That's probably for a typical person a petty theft case, but she's going to lose her career over this, as she should.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
As she should.
Yep. Okay. And music news, a little music news. Last night, the Country Music Awards were on. Any big announcements from last night? Was that what was going on last night that you couldn't see, Davey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was on Amazon.
Yeah.
And not on, which you don't have. I don't know why.
Which I do have.
You do have.
And unfortunately, I wasn't home last night to watch it.
Okay. All right. The Pretenders, music news. The Pretenders have dropped a new song. Chrissy Hine and the Pretenders dropped a new song called Let the Sunshine In. And here's a little piece of it. You ready? Here we go. kind of feel like it sounds like karaoke at Killebrew to me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's
funny. I don't mean to knock karaoke at Killebrew. I'm just saying.
Oh, really?
And Dolly Parton has released her new. This is another one that I just don't. You know how Dolly Parton was. She's been nominated or elected into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, whichever it is. And she initially turned it down. Said, "I'm not worthy of that. I don't play rock." Well, she's certainly an icon, and if you say her name in any arena, they'll know who she is, and probably would recognize her music. Then she said, "You know what? I'm going to do a rock song. I'm going to try my hand at doing rock." And she's written a song.
Today? She's starting now?
She's written a song called World on Fire. And you know she has her goddaughter, Miley Cyrus, who could help out a little bit. I'm not sure she did. She put out a whole new album, and that'll be out on November 17th, that has 21 rock tracks, including it will feature an all-star roster of musicians. That might be interesting. But here is the song the single she's releasing to tease the album, called World on Fire. Here's a little bit. Let me just say, I don't expect to be hearing that anytime soon on OUR.
Neither do I. That was almost more of a country rock kind of a. Didn't it sound still kind of country?
I think so, and it might do still okay in country music. Maybe that's where it ends up, but I'm not sure that it shows up on rock stations. Although she should try to use her voice like an instrument. It sounds like an instrument when she does that. Or even better, she could try to sound like Steven Tyler and start screaming. That might actually go over well. People would be like, "Wow, I can't believe it! It sounds like a heavy metal song." Here's RV on Vernon Downs. Hi, good morning.
Hi, Ed. Jesus, I was thinking of somebody by the name of.
Hi, Tom.
You could be a jockey up there with Vernon Downs. Yeah, I can remember. A lady up there, her name was Virginia Little.
Okay.
She made you look like a midget.
So
she must have weighed 250, 260. And her and her sister both were jockeys up there.
Okay, and so it doesn't matter. You don't have to be small like you would in thoroughbred racing. Like a jockey.
He wasn't small, believe me. I'm telling you right now.
I do get the point there. Thank you.
She was a. I'll tell you what, if they put somebody small on that horse, the horse would have won every race it ran.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, we say it doesn't matter, but it must matter at some point.
She's what I call a heavy hauler.
Okay. All right.
Oh, my
enough.
Goodness.
Enough.
Jeez, RV.
All right. So obviously you enjoy Vernon Downs. When was the last time though you were there?
Oh gosh, I was there. I think it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
The Preakness.
Yeah. Okay.
I went up there for the Preakness for all day.
All right. Very cool.
Right at the Downs, not at the other place.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. I enjoyed the whole day. Let me tell you, it was a very nice day.
It's a good time. Yeah. I mean, it is definitely a good time, but I think people forget at times. So, okay, RB.
Yeah,
thanks, man.
Well, it's hard for me to get around anymore. And,
yeah.
But I went up there about 9 o'clock. The gates opened at 11, and I parked close. And
you were there all day. Yeah.
But I had a very enjoyable day. Let me tell you.
Okay. All right. Okay, RV.
You have a good day, guys.
You do the same. Enjoy the weekend. Mother's Day weekend is going to be beautiful. A little cooler on Sunday, but really a nice weekend.
Before I forget, the Utica Zoo, I believe all mothers get in for free on Sunday for Mother's Day.
Got a break. We're going to do the free money question of the day. Then we'll talk to Jeff Garrell. Davey, this morning, we're looking for caller number what, Davey?
Caller number 9.
Ninth caller through the lines, going all in. Let's end the week with a little bit of giving away, a little giveaway of Hobica's money. Going to end the week with a chance at $100 here. Caller 9 right now at 315-736-0186. I have what I think is an easy question and completely doable. Let's make it another winner. We had one 2 days ago. Let's do another one. 315-736-0186. Caller 9 is next, and then we'll speak with Garrell from Vernon Downs coming up.
It's the greatest pop rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2023. August 2nd at the Stanley Theater. Starring the Turtles, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, the Vogues, the Classics 4, and the Cowsills. Get tickets at the Stanley Theater box office, Ticketmaster.com, or by calling 315-724-4000.
Warner Sales and Service, building relationships, building trust.
This is Lynn from Warner Sales and Service. Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf Zero-Turn Mowers. Hustler mowers are designed to be maintenance and service-friendly for the everyday homeowner while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. From the heavy-duty frame to the welded steel deck to their trademark smooth track steering, Hustler Turf Zero-Turn Mowers deliver professional-grade cut quality for a perfectly manicured lawn. It's your chance to be the envy of your neighborhood. Come see us at Warner Sales and Service on the Greenway New London Road in Rome, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona. And we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Find us at WarnerSS.com.
Warner's, where quality still counts. At Warner's.
At AmeriQ, we know how important it is for your business to run smoothly. After all, your customers mean everything to you. That's why we're here, to connect you with the deposits, loans, and easy cash management tools you need, so you can spend less time managing your finances and more time connecting with your customers. AmeriQ and you, let's connect. Visit ameriq.org/business to get started. Membership eligibility required. Insured by NCUA.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
I'm Joe Hobaika, and I'm running for re-election to Utica's school board. Over the past year as school board president, I and the board majority made prompt corrections in order to save the Utica School District. We parted ways with people who weren't doing their jobs and filled positions with qualified people. We put safeguards in place to stop money from being spent improperly or even illegally. We eliminated no-show jobs, removed hostile work environments, and made it impossible to spend even a penny without proper oversight. Our 4-member majority made selfless, tough decisions. It's been widely reported that our superintendent is currently on paid leave, and we recently accepted the results of an independent investigation. Now, those who want to blow up everything we fixed are trying to regain control of the board. This would be devastating. This Tuesday, there are 2 board seats open, and I'm asking for your vote. Please vote for me, Joe Hobaika. I'll also be voting for Jason Cooper. I promise you, every single vote counts.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
You're invited to the 2023 Glimmerglass Festival, the world-renowned summer opera and musical theater festival located just minutes from Cooperstown. Glimmerglass has been presenting innovative, rare, and familiar works of opera and classic Broadway for nearly 50 years in a summer-long celebration of the arts that's an easy day trip from anywhere in the Mohawk Valley. This year's festival runs July 7th through August 20th, with productions that speak to the aspirations, curiosity, and passions of growing up, and what can happen when life doesn't always play along. Purchase tickets today for Puccini's La Boheme, Bernstein's Candide, Gounod's Romeo and Juliet, Handel's Rinaldo, and a world premiere youth opera. Learn more at glimmerglass.org. The Glimmerglass Festival, a highlight of your summer experiences in the Cooperstown region. Hiking, kayaking, picnicking, museums, and world-class opera and musical theater. Truly a one-of-a-kind summer destination and just a short drive from anywhere in the Mohawk Valley. Join us and see for yourself why there's no place quite like Glimmerglass.
The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski, and others all under one roof, the Falcon Clinic. It's the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. So not only are you getting an examination which is thorough, trying to get to the bottom of the root of the problem, whatever ails you, but you're getting a holistic approach as well. And combining that, did you know that for today in med school, more than 40% of all doctors are graduating, basically becoming doctors, osteopaths. That they are doctors of osteopathy, like Dr. Shemaleski, who for years was a doctor in the ER. We currently, I'm going to the Falcon Clinic personally myself with issues of sleep. Call it a sleep disorder. They're working on it, and so far it's been quite successful. Also, in dealing with my dad, of course, we talked for quite a bit about how my father's been having medical problems, and at the Falcon Clinic, we've gone there as his family doctor. And when I say a thorough examination, it's the first time that someone's really dug deep to figure out what was going on, and we've made an incredible amount of progress. So if you're in that situation, or you just simply need a new family doctor, Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Shemaleski, the Falcon Clinic, they're accepting new patients today. Call 315-507-4751. The Falcon Clinic is in Washington Mills.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, we heard from him just moments ago, and here we go again. Coming up, we'll speak with Jeff Garrell of Vernon Downs. But before that, RV is on the line right now. Good morning, RV. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. You ready to go? I got the easiest question of the week, and I picked it for you.
Okay, I'm ready to go. I went before I got in the car, but that's all right.
Okay. All right. Here we go with your question. Everybody's ready? Davey, you're good? You're all set? Okay, good. There we go. All right. Here you have 7 seconds to answer. This comes from the category, I just announced it. Okay? From the category, I just announced it. Here is your question. What is the title, is what I'm looking for. Dolly Parton's new rock song is entitled what? What's the title of it? Ready, go.
I don't know.
That is not the title.
I heard it, but it didn't register with me. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anybody, do you remember?
Just like a Jim Carrey movie, Liar, Liar? Is that what it is?
It was World of Fire.
World of Fire.
That's it there, RV.
The guy sitting right with you didn't even know. What the hell's going on?
I don't know. Apparently no one listens to me. All right, we'll give you the Utica All-in-One Food and Fun card. It's a $25 gift card, and it's good at the following restaurants. Aquavino in New Hartford, Babes, 72 Tavern and Grill, Taylor and the Cook, and any of the concession stands at the Adirondack Bank Center or Nexus. RV, stand by. Davey is going to take care of you this morning, all right?
Okay, I'll hang on.
All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
So I know you said it was 21 songs that were going to be on this album, and they were rock songs. But again, that seems to me, and I did remember the hook. It was "Liar, Liar, Your World's on Fire." I just forgot the second part of it.
Yeah. You did mention the lie. You did remember the lying part.
But it is interesting the way her voice sounds there, and I almost wonder.
Sounds almost like an instrument. Her voice is an instrument. Please,
or a cat,
please, yeah. Well, you
whining
could say
outside.
that. Yeah. A cat in heat. That's where you're going, I think.
So also, I wonder if we identify, or just me identify, when I hear her voice, I just think country. So it's like I can't even call it a rock song. But that does seem like it has a bit of a country feel, especially when you played it as it kept going, and some of the instruments in there. It sounded a little country to me.
I don't feel like even if you'd never heard of Dolly Parton before. I do not believe that you would listen to that and say, "Oh, that's a great rock song." I just don't feel it.
You know, if she was doing a cover to Metallica, maybe I could feel it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the stuff that made Dolly Parton famous, and I don't think she should walk away from it. Songs like "Islands in the Stream" and, of course, 9 to 5, and then this one about WKTV. Remember this song here? Yeah. Been around for years. Jolene. Oh, that's not about. I didn't know that. Oh, sorry. Anyway, that's nothing intended there. It's just the name. I don't know what the song is about.
I started quickly thinking. I'm like,
what's this song about? Yeah,
I have no idea.
I'm not. It's just a play on the name. That's all. That's all it is. Innocent. Here we go. I mean, this. Why go away from what you're...
This almost has like a rock feel, kind of.
It was a huge pop hit. This was an enormous crossover on the pop charts.
Yeah, when he stumbles out of bed.
This is Jeff when he stumbles out of bed. Yeah, he'd like to work 9 to 5, wouldn't he?
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
All right, enough of that. Yep, that's it. I do not see her as a hard rock artist by any means.
No.
Jeff Garrell is with Vernon Downs. This story is all over the news and has been all week long. And, people are worried that Vernon Downs is going to close. Jeff is the owner of Vernon Downs along with Tioga Downs and says that if they don't continue with the, I believe it's the tax breaks that they've been receiving, if they don't renew that, there is a risk that Vernon Downs could shut down. We'd lose the whole thing. Jeff is on the line. Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Sure.
Okay, this is almost a bit of deja vu. I remember we were having this conversation a few years back.
Yeah, we had the conversation. Everything was fine. When Yellow Brick Road and Point Place and Lago, all these casinos opened, Vernon Downs' revenue took a big hit. We went from $40 million in slot revenue to $28 million in slot revenue, and the state hired a consultant, and they did an analysis, and they said that the state would have to increase the vendor fee by 6.4% in order for Vernon to break even, and they passed a law that gave me the additional 6.4%, subject to that I maintain 90% of the number of employees that we had in 2016. Everything was fine. I had the right number of employees. I was getting the tax, the additional vendor fee. I was breaking even. And then, we got hit with COVID. So, to my surprise, we got a letter in 2021, July or August, saying, well, you're no longer employing the number of people you're obligated to employ, so we're revoking the additional vendor fee. So I said, what, are you crazy? You've told us we can't even open the buffet. We've lost all our wedding and meeting business because of, obviously, COVID. How could you expect, plus people don't even want to go back to work. So
Right.
they said, well, it's not our problem. Get the legislature to fix it. So last year I tried to get the legislature to fix it, and to my shock, they refused. So I kind of said, okay, fine, or the governor is new. She's got a new team. I'll suck it up. I'll get it fixed this year. Same thing happened. I went back, and I said, look, you got to restore the 6.4%, so I break even. I lost $2 million last year. I lost more. But, and once again, nobody cared.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll just close. You guys don't care. I paid the state $13 million, so the additional vendor fee would mean I'll pay the state $11 million. So I'm saying to myself, okay, how could they not fix this?
Yeah.
I employed 250 people, and I'll still pay them $11 million a year, plus, the town, the community, the horsemen. Nobody wants to see the place close, and yet, nobody seemed to care. Hopefully, I've given up. I told the union, I said, look, I've tried for 2 years.
Yeah,
you try. Yeah. And kind of that's where it's at. Hopefully they can get this done. It makes no sense.
All right.
Nobody, and I'm friendly with the governor, and I know she cares about jobs in upstate New York, so hopefully this will get resolved. I have no idea. I think they just don't like me, maybe. I have no idea.
All right.
Jeff, how many jobs are up there to protect?
We employ about 250 people, full-time and part-time, because, we have, during the racing season, we have to add employees, and then we only race like 3 days a week, so, those people you could argue aren't full-time, but and we bring in, when we have weddings and meetings, we bring in extra people, but I think we have like 180, 190 full-time employees and a bunch of part-time employees.
So, and if you were to close, there would be no racing there. What would the horses and the jockeys, if I'm using that term correctly,
Sure.
Would they go to Tioga with you?
They would be. They'd have to figure out where to go. We're gonna close in stages, so we were gonna close the slots in August, and the racing basically after Labor Day, because there's a lot of stakes races and would really mess things up. I only bought the place because of horse racing. I never expected to make money because we're so close to Turning Stone. But oddly enough, we were doing okay. We were holding our own. We get along with Turning Stone. Some people like a smaller place. But once they chose Lago, and then correctly the Oneidas built Point Place and Yellow Brick Road because they wanted to be closer to Syracuse, then we lost a lot of our Syracuse customers. That's where we really got hurt, because people went to Lago on one side. West of Syracuse, you could go to Lago, and then you really had to pass Point Place and Yellow Brick Road in order to get to Vernon. So, we went from 40 to 28. Okay, and the state is the one that came up with the 6.4%. I would have asked for more, but I didn't want to fight with them.
Have you had any conversations? I know that Marianne Buttonshaw, Assemblywoman here, has been vocal on this. Senator Griffo, have you? I don't know who is your representation there in Vernon.
As far as lobbyists go, I try to avoid. So this year I have actually 2 lobbyists. Last year I only had 1. I know most of the people. Marianne is great.
Have you had a conversation with her?
Oh, yeah. And Griffo also, and Donald Lepardo, who's representatives in Binghamton. I've talked to the head of the racing. Gary Pretlow runs the race, is chair of the racing committee. Joe Adabo is chair in the Senate. They both agree with me. They both tried.
So what do you expect them to? I mean, there's a lot. This story is in the media right now, and pretty everybody's covering it. So there should be that pressure. Do you expect them to has anyone given you any positive news?
Yeah, the union told me that they got a call from the governor's office, so that's positive. Like I said, I don't, I need the union and local leaders, the horsemen. They don't like me, obviously, because I've failed now twice. And, they've given big tax reductions to the 3 casinos other than mine. Believe it or not, Tioga Downs pays the highest tax rate in the state. The other 3 casinos, which are all bigger than me, only pay 30% on slots. I pay 37%. That makes no sense. So I think maybe it's just me. I did attack the Gaming Commission because I thought that the selection of Lago was rigged.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I thought I was getting along with everybody until COVID hit, and we got blindsided by this letter.
Sure.
Telling us we didn't employ the right number of people. So, screw you.
So a couple comments / questions here. Somebody's saying that is Brian Miller the assemblyman up there? Have you had any contact with his office?
I didn't think Brian covered that. Is Brian your assemblyman?
I think I don't know Brian. His office reached out. I know Mary Ann, so maybe it's switched.
Well, no, Mary Ann.
I don't think redistricting. I know Mary Ann very well, and she's been a big fighter for us. I really don't know, so I don't want to put the blame on him because I did not reach out for his help. The only people I reached out to were Mary Ann and Griffo. Griffo really he's been terrific all along.
Yeah.
But, he's a Republican, so they don't have much power, unfortunately. I think, if your senator is a Democrat, you're better off. But Griffo's a great guy. He cares about the community. He's been all over this. But for whatever reason, you got to understand, nobody thinks that it makes any sense. I have not talked to anyone in the legislature who thinks this makes any sense.
Well, as you know, in Albany, that's not enough to change it.
Yeah, common sense is certainly not the. And Mary Ann, I don't believe it covers Vernon Downs. Her district would be Utica and Rome.
Right, but she's been all over. I mean, look, Utica, Rome is affected. I mean, it's not
sure, but it affects the entire region. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. We do a concert every year to benefit the food bank. It raises a substantial amount of money.
Do you? I just want to go back to the part. You really think it's personal that that this is? They don't like you. You really believe that's it?
Truthfully, I do.
You do?
I can't. You tell me. Why would anybody want to see 250 union workers lose their job?
Yeah.
And we, like I say, pay $13 million. I have no idea. I mean, I get I happen to be friends with the governor. I'd be shocked if she has. I doubt if she even knows that this is happening, but maybe she'll find out, and that'll be helpful. She's done a good job. I like her.
All right.
So
I've got someone asking what's your relationship like with the county and the county executive? Is there anything?
Fine. They've been very helpful. I have a good relationship with them. Adabo, Joe Adabo is the senator in charge of the game racing, and he said to me, I said to him, do you think they'll fail to fix this? He says, I don't know. He says, because none of it makes any sense. He says, this makes no sense. Why would we want to see a racino close that employs 250 people in upstate New York and pays $13 million?
I know that I just received an invite to a wedding that's coming up there. So you have a pretty decent wedding business over there, right?
Yeah, wedding business is fine. Like I said, we're going to stay open to keep that business open for the end of the year.
Okay.
I don't want anyone to to have to go scramble. But anyone who's got a wedding scheduled this year doesn't have to worry.
All right, so
and we'll see. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
Usually government's job is to create jobs.
Yeah. Okay.
So not to uncreate jobs. So don't ask me.
So you'll stay open if they make the right move. We'll check back with you maybe.
Yeah.
In a week or so.
All I want to do is break even. I can't afford to lose $2 million a year. That means I'm subsidizing the state. They don't need my money.
All right, Jeff Garrell, thank you so much. We appreciate it, Vernon Downs.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Bye.
thank you. News coming up straight ahead. Next hour, we will speak with Mike Hennessy, who has a lot going on, and John Martosha, running for Utica School Board. WIBX, Utica, Rome.
The surge at the border, Gian Gelosi, Fox News.
This is absolutely a disaster, a humanitarian crisis, the number one threat to our national security.
Kansas Senator Roger Marshall at the southern border witnessing the end of Title 42. Fox's Alexandria Hoff.
Migrants, they've been traveling for weeks to meet the end of Title 42 right there at the border. The White House releases this, saying starting tonight, people who arrive at the border without using a lawful pathway will be presumed ineligible for asylum. The border is not open. People who do not use available lawful pathways to enter the U.S. now face tougher consequences, including a minimum 5-year ban on re-entry and potential criminal prosecution. This comes after the White House released a plan that would allow the temporary release of migrants into the U.S. without court dates and without a means to track them. It was a last-minute tactic to try to ward off overcrowding in detention centers as thousands have waited on the Mexican side of our border for the COVID-era policy to expire.
Meanwhile, a federal judge in Florida strikes down the Biden administration's plan to mass release migrants without court dates, writing that without removal proceedings, it was no different than a plan by the administration that was ruled unconstitutional back in March. Texas Congressman Chip Roy.
They don't really care about the rule of law at all. They're ignoring existing law, dumping people into the United States, endangering Texans, endangering migrants at the same time.
The Republican speaking to Fox News, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and congressional leaders will now meet with the president next week after their plans for today were canceled. Both sides still at odds over how to approach raising the debt limit.
What I truly believe here, looking at the actions of this president, he doesn't want a deal. He wants a default. And the American people do not deserve that.
That's House Speaker Kevin McCarthy speaking to reporters on Capitol Hill. America's listening to Fox News.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-283-2230. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-283-2230 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. That's 800-283-2230 to see if you qualify. That's 800-283-2230.
We have some morning sunshine and 55 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX News Time is 8:03. This news update is brought to you by My Carl's Memorial Day Sale. It starts now. Showrooms are full of amazing deals, sofas, recliners, bedroom sets, and dining sets. Why wait for Memorial Day to save? Shop My Carl's in the New Hartford Shopping Center and in Destiny, USA. Another arrest made in connection with the escape incident that happened earlier this week in downtown Utica. A second inmate at the Oneida County Jail facing charges, although just misdemeanor charges in this case. Christopher Spain, a 35-year-old Utican, has been charged with escape in the third degree. That is a misdemeanor under state law. It's alleged that when Mitchell Clark started to book it and wound up running down a portion of Oriskany Street before he was apprehended again, Spain also made an attempt to get away. He's accused of trying to run from the county sheriff's transport team as they were set to reboard a van and head back to prison, to the county jail. However, the sheriff's office says he only made it a few feet before he was caught by authorities. Wednesday afternoon's moment of chaos was partially captured by a civilian motorist. You can see that video on our website. Clark was tagged with a felony-level escape charge for his attempt to sprint to freedom. A new development in the ongoing legal case over the Interstate 81 construction project in Syracuse. A state Supreme Court judge ruling yesterday that a group called Renew 81 for All will not get another chance to argue their case in court. The group filed a lawsuit against the State Department of Transportation, claiming the agency did not follow environmental laws when deciding to build an over $2 billion street-level community grid to replace the overhead highway. The overpass is not expected to come down for several years. The father of a child who brought a weapon to school, arrested on multiple charges. This happened in Oswego County. Deputies say the 8-year-old child of 34-year-old Robert Weaver showed the gun to a fellow student on the school bus on Tuesday. The handgun did not have any ammunition inside and was inoperable. The child will not face any charges, but Weaver faces allegations of child endangerment and criminal possession of a weapon. Records show that Weaver is being held still in the Oswego County Jail. And 3 people taken to the hospital after a small plane crash in Albany County. Officials say the accident happened yesterday at the South Albany Airport. The aircraft was found at the south end of the runway. There is no word yet on how badly the individuals involved were hurt. The National Transportation Safety Board is going to be looking into what caused that crash. And one more note, and I mentioned this last hour as well, special at the Utica Zoo coming up on Sunday for Mother's Day. Mothers get in for free. WIBX News Time, 8:06. A nice weekend on tap and a great afternoon today is expected. Full details from Eyewitness News.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center today. Mostly to partly sunny, warmer. Again, the small risk of a spotty shower well to the north and northeast, a high near 80. Tonight, mostly cloudy, mild, low of 54. And tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds early, then becoming mainly sunny, breezy, not as warm, but still nice and mild, a high near 75. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
In sports, the Mets still stink. They were shut out yesterday as they lose yet again. Now 18-20 on the season. The Mets begin a 4-game series against the Nationals tonight in Washington. The Yankees' 3-game winning streak was snapped yesterday. They lost 8-2 to the Tampa Bay Rays. Domingo Germán charged with the loss. The Yankees 21-18. They continue their 4-game set against the Rays tonight in the Bronx. The Knicks hope to extend their season and their series. They visit the Miami Heat tonight for Game 6. The Knicks coming off a Game 5 victory at MSG. Jalen Brunson led all scorers in that game with 38 points. New York will be looking to force a winner-take-all Game 7 that would be played back at MSG on Monday night. The Devils' season ending last night. They lost in overtime 3-2 to the Carolina Hurricanes. Dawson Mercer opened the scoring for the Devils. After the Canes tied it at 1, Timo Meyer scored a power play goal midway through the second period to give the Devils the lead once again, but it was not enough. The game was tied, and then they lost in OT. Akira Schmid, the former Utica Comet, stopped 36 of the 39 shots he faced in defeat. The L.A. Lakers planning to have their superstar big man on the court for Game 6. Anthony Davis officially listed as probable for the matchup against the defending champion Golden State Warriors. There was some concern that Davis had suffered a concussion in the game the other night. What else here? The New England Patriots to honor Tom Brady at their home opener. On the NFL Network Thursday morning, team chairman and CEO Robert Kraft revealed he personally invited Brady to the game. Kraft said the NFL is over a century old, and 20% of those years of the NFL, the greatest player in the history of the game, played right here. Brady announced his retirement after 23 seasons in the league in February. He won 6 Super Bowls with the New England Patriots.
And the greatest player, is that what we're calling him now, Tom Brady?
Well, that's what...
the greatest player who ever played.
The greatest player in the history of the game played right here. That's from Robert Kraft. I mean, he's a little over the top. I think he's probably the best quarterback. I don't know if he's the greatest player ever. I mean... Right? There's such a variance. It's like the MVP in baseball. Like, it's almost never a pitcher. So you always think of a guy who can hit and play defense, not a guy who plays once every fifth day.
Well, and the other part of this is it's very difficult to judge people out of their era.
Yeah.
The game has changed and progressed so much. It's very difficult to compare him to even a quarterback from the 1980s, right?
Yeah, no question. Or like a Joe Namath. I mean, how much, again, how the game has developed. Running was the key, and having a big offensive line, not skilled wide receivers. And
let's not forget, no one touched Brady. Basically, through a good part of his career, he was so protected. He had all the time in the world, and he had the tools, too. He had guys who were able to catch the ball.
You know, speaking of weddings at Vernon Downs, the league really tailored the rules to cater to him.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just, oh, Tom, we don't want you to twist your ankle. Yeah. Untied shoes are illegal. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Brian Miller, speaking of Vernon Downs, Brian Miller, that is part of Brian's district, and he's on the line right now. Assemblyman, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Yes, we do represent Vernon Downs. This is very concerning to all of us here in the Utica Rome area and in the state. We have been in touch and contact and having discussions with Jeff's people up there, and we've been working on this, trying to get some stuff through the budget, which we weren't successful with, and we're trying to get it done. But there's going to be a press conference this morning at 11 o'clock. Up at Vernon. So
okay,
let's wait and see what goes on with that. But I just want to let everybody know that my office is working on this.
Okay.
We do represent Vernon, and we're doing all we can.
All right, I know you're tight for time, Brian. I'm going to let you go, and we'll let's get you on in here next week.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Assemblyman Brian Miller. Without getting into this and going back and forth, because I don't know, I've been fighting all week, but do I want to fight anymore? And I've got Hennessy coming up. I've got Martosha coming up in studio. I mean, I'm really tired.
Really?
It's been a long week. But I'm getting all pepped up right now. This is going to be an exciting hour. I'm excited about it. But here's a question for you. Are we talking, and, Richard was quite critical this morning, but I do have to, I don't want to side with him on this at all, but I do have to say, are we dealing with a business that just isn't as popular today as it used to be, with an attraction that just isn't as popular as it used to be? And that's, we're really keeping it alive. I would hope we're keeping it alive in a way that it is, I remember Vernon Downs doing a much better job at promoting Vernon Downs.
Right.
Vernon Downs, there was video every night on the news at Vernon Downs. I remember on the radio, there was a Vernon Downs report that you'd get on the radio. We were always talking about Vernon Downs. They were always pushing things out. And I'm not sure that that same intensity exists today. The other problem it's almost like if you have a comedy club and you're like, no, this is great, everybody should come. And it doesn't just seem to work out. You have to look yourself in the mirror a little bit and say, are we pushing something that the general public isn't going to completely support? And I wonder if that's what we're dealing with Vernon Downs. And I'm sad to say that, but I do think sometimes we have to face reality.
So, again, I am surprised the number, and this is the press release about the event happening today. It's 11 a.m. at the Vernon Downs lobby there, where the union representing the workforce is going to talk about, they would like some state action to protect the jobs. But $40 million in revenue in 2015 from the slot machines. I mean, think about that. They are second fiddle, or maybe, with all due respect to Vernon Downs, maybe even third fiddle compared to the Turning Stone properties.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're still pulling $40 million on slot machines.
Yeah, that's still a lot of money. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think Turning Stone's pulling in on slots? $400 million?
Well, remember, that's where Oneida County makes its money, right?
That's
true.
The
slot machines, and it's a good place to go in a casino. When they negotiated that deal, that was the best deal I think that could have been negotiated, because the golden nugget in casinos, it's slot machines. I mean, wow. I'm not a player. I don't even understand the slot machines today. Used to be you'd put a quarter in and maybe money would come out. Now it's you got to slide your card in. There's all sorts of crisscross opportunities and noises and explosions.
It used to be just
yeah. Don't understand. I do not understand the games today. I don't play them.
I never know when I win. You hear with the coins.
But yeah, oh my God, I won big. No, you won $1.50.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
my luck. But I'm telling you, if you talk to people who study casinos, they'll tell you the money is in the slot machines. Wayne is on right now. Good morning, Wayne. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. There's too many of them harness tracks around, and they're not as popular as they used to be. And that place, Vernon Downs in general, when you go to walk in, as soon as you walk in, every bit of what is Vernon Downs Casino is like walking into a gas station. They got everything but candy bars to buy because it just looks like you could see. You know how you have to go to most places. You kind of got to walk around.
Yeah,
you get to see things, and there, if you just walk in and you take your head from left to right, you've seen it all, so you could leave in about 30 seconds. That's how it is.
Interesting.
It doesn't come off as something where you could go in and travel through and see a little shopping or a little bingo or a little whatever else they have.
Yeah.
You walk in and that's it. It's like you could walk up and.
But it's like when
you
go. I do think there's the ability to prosper off the throwback of this thing, right?
Right.
I mean, it is. I just don't. I'm not hearing as much about Vernon Downs promotions. Every week there was a big promotion, and I mean, hold a Mad Men night or something, or hold a what's that show? The Amazing Mrs. Maisel. That's a throwback to the '60s when this was. When it was in its heyday, I just feel like baseball has kind of figured it out. Minor League Baseball figured it out. Talk to the people down in Little Falls. They run the Diamond Dogs. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
down there?
it's a collegiate league.
It's a collegiate league. I get it. But how are you going to make money off a collegiate league? And I'm not sure they make millions off that, but I'm going to tell you this. They know how to run promotions.
It's exciting. You go to a game there, it's exciting.
It's exciting. And it's not the baseball that's exciting, although the baseball is really good. It is a high level of collegiate baseball. But what's exciting is they've got things moving. There's always promotion. That's how minor league baseball has learned to survive. And I think some of these other businesses, like maybe harness racing, maybe that's what they have to do as well.
It's comparable to like when you go to the casino for the Turning Stone for boxing. If you go to boxing, it's all right. But when you go to boxing and they have the hype guy there, oh, my God, it's off the hook. Or it's just totally different.
Yeah. All right, Wayne. Thanks, man.
Later, guys.
Thank you, Wayne.
Joe Load says, what is wrong with you? Just keep hitting the button until you win.
Yeah, exactly, right? or it's all zeros.
Yeah.
Look, I got 3 zeros. What do I win? So Lance says, being that Bill is a Pacenti backer, I'm not surprised of his views on Vernon Downs. I am
not against Vernon Downs.
I don't know where Lance is going with this.
Throwing it out there, and I don't know what. The only thing I know about Pacenti and Vernon Downs is that everybody supports it. I don't know anything more than that, and I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just wondering, are we promoting it the way it should be promoted, or is it something that isn't as popular as it used to be? And man, we're dealing with COVID. Post-COVID still exists. It is hard to get people to get back into a routine of what they used to do.
Yeah.
That is just a problem. And Garrell is right when he says, we lost a ton during COVID, and we're still in that kind of COVID mood, that getting people back out. I think that's a thing. And Lance, I'm not going negative on Vernon Downs. And I also have not had any conversation with Tony about the only thing he said on the air is they're trying to lobby to get the state to do the right thing here.
And Garrell said that they have a good relationship with the county. So,
although I can't believe Garrell said they haven't talked to Brian Miller's office when they're all over at Brian's office, because we had heard from them. Kathy in Rome on Vernon Downs. Hi, Kathy. You're a horse. You're a horsewoman. That doesn't come out right. You're a horse enthusiast.
Well, I worked with standardbred racehorses for when I was younger in my life.
Wow.
And I think, as you say, I think the 60s and the 70s were the time for Vernon Downs. But unfortunately, I think right now, with only 3 days of racing, they don't get the big name horses like Albatross, Nebele Pride, and I just think it's time for the track portion, the racetrack in the stable area. Maybe its time has come to end, or possibly you have the big wigs with the big money might be willing to buy the track and use it for a training track for, thoroughbreds.
Yeah.
Also. But I can remember growing up, the cars used to fly by the house, one right after another, and you knew where they were going.
Right.
But
it's not the same.
It's not the same. I remember my grandmother and my father telling me they had gone to the opening. It was like 3 years before I was born, and they said it was quite something. But I miss seeing. I used to like to go when the big name horses would come in.
I wonder, Kathy. I wonder how many, how much of Vernon Downs was people who like to gamble, because when you think about that, you now have a lot of competition that didn't exist 31 years ago.
Right.
Number one, you have the Turning Stone, of course, and then as Garrell said, the casinos that are around the area. Number two, Twin Spires is a great app if you like to bet horses.
That's handy.
And you're doing it right from the comfort of wherever you are with the phone in your hand, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many options out there to get your gambling on. I wonder how much that hurts a place like Vernon Downs.
The harness tracks, they're just, unless you're in a big area, the harness tracks are really having it.
Yeah. All right.
I wish we had asked him how Tioga Downs is doing.
I wonder about that. Yeah, because he's not complaining about Tioga. Okay, Kathy, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good weekend.
You do the same. Happy Mother's Day this weekend. Phil.
Thank you.
Phil on Vernon Downs. Hi, Phil. You're on.
Good morning. I disagree with her. I was up there this weekend for the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
And the place was packed. I couldn't get a chair.
That's good.
I go up there about every other weekend, and I love it up there. And I go to the race, and then I walk over to the music.
Oh, they have live music?
Yeah, live music over at the... Do they do that at the hotel?
Yeah, we walk over from the track over to the hotel.
Okay, cool. And you feel like it's very successful.
Well, I don't know if it's that like that, but I just enjoy going up there.
Okay, cool.
There's a group of us that go every other weekend.
All right, cool. Thank you, Phil.
I've got to get up there myself because the first time, I think I had done a couple like Kentucky Derby type bets before at the OTB, but when they reopened, this was obviously pre-pandemic, I went up there and I think I had like a $3 or $4 bet. And it was an exacta box, and that's why I always bet the exacta box. But I hit it, and it paid me like $135.
Wow!
Which on a $3 or $4 bet,
that's pretty good. Yeah.
I was like, wow! And then I proceeded to put it all back in, but it was a thrill I had in my pocket.
Part of the problem with that is part of the problem with winning early is but I planned to stay here all night.
Right.
I can't leave now. I'll just play a little of it.
It's house money.
Let's double. I'm playing with their money now. And before you know it, you're back to playing with your money. I wonder if, Mike, Vernon Downs harness racing is sort of like the old Enchanted Forest before Water Safari. How would Enchanted Forest survive today without Water Safari?
It wouldn't.
It would.
They'd sell the Crooked Man and the Crooked House stuff. You'd see them on somebody's front lawn. They would have auctioned them off.
That is correct. All right. Is not yet. We're waiting on Hennessy, Mike Hennessy.
Yeah.
Where is he? You got to call him. You can get him on the phone if he's not going to be in studio.
I'll buzz him, yeah.
Let's figure that out. Hennessy coming up. Also, later on in the hour, we'll speak with John Martosha, who's a candidate for Utica School Board, and we'll get both of them in studio coming right up. I'll break first, though, and I did want to tell you about Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating and Cooling and Insulation. Fred F. Collis & Sons has been around for more than 85 years, and nobody does it like Collis. They are the pristine When it comes to service, they are pristine. When it comes to install, whatever it is they do it very, very well. You can count on Collis, which is why they're the recipient of the 2023 President's Award at the Carrier Conference held in Austin, Texas. They receive it for outstanding leadership in several areas, including customer satisfaction and HVAC expertise. And right now, there are many state programs out there that are available for you for incentives and rebates when it comes to installing energy-efficient mini-splits in your home. Collis can help. They can walk you through the process, navigate the programs, and make sure you save on your new system. In some cases, people have had their entire upgrade paid for through incentives and rebates. Spring is also all about allergy season. Collis provides some great opportunities for air quality, including air purifiers and duct cleanings as well. And they're hiring today. Fred F. Collis & Sons has a career opportunity for insulation installers. They're seeking a crew leader for their insulation team. Head over to the careers page on their website, fredfcollis.com, and you can learn more and actually apply right there on the website.
Hi, this is Bill Cole from Gates Cole Insurance with exciting news. We are expanding with a couple of new offices in our area. One new location is North Country Estates Insurance in Lowville. They are another independent insurance agency that takes pride in making customers happy and fits our culture at Gates Cole perfectly. Here is William Schaub from the newest Gates Cole agency, North Country Estates Insurance in Lowville.
Working with us as an independent agent with this many companies, we will often call our clients and say, we're going to reduce your premium if you like. We have the companies that do well in New York and specifically this area. The coverages that we provide are commercial and personal insurance. That's the home, the auto, ATV, motorcycle. There's nothing more fun than taking care of a customer and being able to tell them that we're able to save them some money.
Proudly representing Finger Lakes Fire and Casualty Company of Trumansburg, New York. Gates Cole Insurance. We'll take care of you.
Hi, I'm Joe Carbone. Welcome to Harley-Davidson and Power Sports of Utica. 35% off or 2-for-1 on all boots, hoodies, and big and tall. First bike night of the year, May 12th, with Showtime, Piggy Pants, plenty of cold beer. We'll see you there. Welcome to Power Sports of Utica, where you can take home a brand new C4 600 four-wheeler with all-wheel drive, a winch, and power steering for $65.99. And join us May 12th for our first bike night featuring Showtime, Piggy Pat's Barbecue, and plenty of cold beer.
Start a new career and get a great paycheck, earning up to $39 per hour, plus strong benefits, a job you love, a solid pension, and brothers and sisters who always have your back. Your union construction career with Laborers Local 190 starts today. As a member of Local 190, you'll build the Mohawk Valley's future and get state-of-the-art training to do it safely. Earn more. Build your future. Apply today by texting JOBS to 345-345.
Honey, why are you peeking out the window and spying on the neighbors?
I can't stop watching what they're doing to their house. Look at that. They added a sunroom and put in a pool. Do you think they won the lottery?
No, not the lottery. Julie and Jeff got a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank. They're using the equity from their home to renovate.
Really?
Yes, Adirondack Bank has home equity rates as low as 3.99% annual percentage rate. You can access the equity in your home to fund almost anything.
Huh. Maybe we should call Adirondack Bank. What about a new kitchen? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the roof. Oh, and even take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about. And, of course, I need a new car.
Slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank.
Stop into your local Adirondack Bank for more information on home equity loan rates as low as 3.99% APR. Or call 877-404-2265 for credit costs and terms. Apply today at AdirondackBank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
This weekend, watch Mohawk Valley Partnership for Health Equity, the story of several area organizations working together to bring health care to marginalized populations. Saturday at 1 p.m. and Sunday at 1:30 p.m. on WUTR. Brought to you by the Rome branch of the NAACP, Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield, MVHS, The Center, Rome Health, Connected Community Schools, Jervis Public Library, and the Capitol Arts Complex.
Hi, this is Jill Hayes.
And this is Scott Hayes from New York Sash.
And we're here to tell you, never let a window salesperson in your home.
Wait, what?
That's right. Never invite a company you don't know yet into your home.
But honey, we need to measure the windows and calculate savings.
I know, Scott, but I'm worried that people will get stuck with one of those high-pressure window companies. So instead, I'm telling them to come to our showroom.
Oh, okay.
Instead of high pressure, come to our beautiful showroom on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro, where there's no pressure and all of our products are on display. Siding, bathrooms, gutters, and of course, windows.
Browse our new line of New York Sash brand windows. Open and close them, see how easy they are to clean and how beautiful they look. And only when you're ready, we'll come out and measure them up.
Seeing is believing, and at our New York Sash Idea and Design Center, there's never any pressure. Just siding, bathrooms, windows, and more.
We're open Monday through Saturday on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. And as always,
let our family take care of your family.
All right, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of the moms that are out there. And moms and the grandmothers as well. You got to do the grandmothers. Davey, you want to say Happy Mother's Day?
Jeff reach out to.
Davey's busy. He's too busy to say Happy Mother's Day to his mom, but Jeff is not.
No. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Of course, I'll see you on Sunday, and I love you. I have an awesome mother, as I know you do, and as I know Smitty does as well. So I just want to say thank you for all the love and care that you've given to us.
And even my wife somehow is a good mother. I don't even get it. And, you know, when she's babysitting me, I know she regrets that. Believe me. The way I say Happy Mother's Day to my mom versus to my wife, it's like I can't believe you put up with me. It's probably both. But you want to do something nice for your mom. It's a Utica thing. Kitchen and bar is open. This is Utica-style Italian food. Your greens, your chicken riggies, tomato pie, all of those great things. But then on top of it, it's everything else. There's now a full bar. Yes, they'll be doing the mimosas and all that on Sunday for mothers. Open 1 till 8 for Sunday, Mother's Day. Make reservations by calling 315-738-8946. And steaks and seafood. The pasta is, the macaroni is handmade. It's made in the kitchen right there. It is so delicious. Even receiving the 2 thumbs up from Davey just the other day. Am I right with that?
Right.
Yeah.
And he said if he had more thumbs, he'd given it more thumbs.
He would. Sunday, 1 till 8. Of course, they're open tonight till 10, lunch and dinner. Tomorrow, 12 till 10, and then Sunday for Mother's Day, 1 till 8. Make a reservation at 315-738-8946. If you've not seen this restaurant yet, get in. It's in the Leland Plaza in North Utica. It is so good. It is so well done. It's beautiful inside. The food is delicious. It's a Utica Thing Kitchen and Bar, now open in North Utica.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
You were asking something, and I said, I'll tell you on the air. Do you remember what that was? That's a problem we have.
Yeah.
Can't remember a thing around
as we
here.
get older here. So, was it about Tioga Downs?
I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was.
I've got a couple here.
Anyway,
let's see.
Comments.
Bill is kind of right. Bill in Deerfield says, Bill, you are right. When was the last time you heard an advertisement for it? He's talking about Vernon Downs.
All I know is it used to be something you were always talking about Vernon Downs.
Yeah.
And maybe it's, like a guy, Phil, or whoever just called, said, yeah, I go every weekend. It's great. Or every other weekend.
Darlene in Sequoia says, we go and stop at Tioga Downs on our way to our daughter's house. It's always busy, but nothing else to do around there, and they have table games there. It's very nice. I know Jeff has said before that it supports Vernon Downs, meaning, of course, Jeff Garrell.
They have a full casino there.
And one more here. Oh, this was on the music from this morning. Check out the track list and the guests for the Dolly Parton. You said that she's got a CD with 21 tracks?
That comes out in November, yeah.
She's got Steve Perry singing a Journey song on there for the first time in a long time, and she does a version of Stairway to Heaven with Lizzo. So,
okay.
I don't know.
Don't know anything about
it. How you
doing, John? In studio is John Martosha. He is running for Utica School Board. And, John, good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us why, if you would, why you are running for school board.
I'm running for school board because I have a love for children, and I feel that I could bring something to the table to make Utica School District a much better school district. Currently, New York State Education Department ranked in October school districts in New York State based on test scores. 3rd through 8th grade, there were 747 school districts that they ranked, and Utica ranked 558, with number 1 being the best. So obviously, with a 558 ranking out of 647 schools, number 1 being the best, there's a lot of room for improvement.
What was the rank? What was it being?
Test scores for 3rd through 8th grade.
Okay, all right. And then I think that part of that is of the schools that were ranking down on the lower side, many of them are are big cities.
Yeah, bigger cities.
And Utica is among those large cities. Yeah. So you have so many students. It is very, what I would say it would be interesting to look at is how many kids go off to great colleges and do great things, because Utica does have many amazing success stories. And I'm not talking about the current administration or the previous administration. Over the years, the one thing that we've seen is students that are going off to places like Harvard. But when you have so many kids, the number's so huge, it's very easy for larger school districts to be caught up in a list like that.
Yeah, I agree with you, but there obviously still room for improvement.
No doubt about it. I think we should always try to improve.
My son is, my children are testimonies to the greatness of Utica schools. My son Marco was the president of the school, and he was at Proctor. He went on to Hamilton College. My daughter did very well. Utica does. That's why I'm so involved in Utica School District, because I believe that we can be the best school district in this state. I believe that people could be motivated to move to Utica because of the school district.
Yeah, okay.
Many times people come into the area and they want to settle in New Hartford, Sequoia, Whitesboro. I want Utica School District to be the district that people from out of town, when they move to this area, want to send their kids to the Utica School District. So I agree with you. It has a lot of great potential.
And you can see, again, how they could be caught up in a list like that. As a board member, though, you're very limited in what a board member can do, especially when it comes to the education of students. Much of the curriculum, almost all of the curriculum, is really set by New York State. So, how do you as a board member think you're going to be able to change that?
Well, I think we could. Obviously, teachers are the basic source. The administration, the very basic source of where the education process, the quality of education is based on the administration and the teachers. So, as a school board member, I'd make sure that we get the very, very, very best in principals, administrators, support staff, guidance counselors, psychologists.
What do you think of
social workers, great teachers? We give them incentive to do well. We give them merit-based pay based on how well they do. Excellent teachers deserve merit-based pay as well.
Well, there are these things that are incentives, I think, that New York State is doing, but you'll never be able to accomplish that with the current contracts and that sort of thing. It'd be very difficult.
Well, things could always be changed.
And do you think
I have hope in change?
All right, fair enough. Do you feel the teachers at Utica are not good?
Well, I think that first of all, 85% of our teachers live outside the Utica School District. That in and of itself, a teacher, we should give them some type of incentive to live in the city of Utica. That way, they have a vested interest in the community. So they're living outside the city of Utica. They're paying property taxes to other school districts. If they live in New Hartford, their property taxes are going to the New Hartford School District. If they're living in Sequoia, et cetera. If they live in Utica, we could give them incentive. They could contribute to the tax base of this city, and we could actually increase the tax base.
Do you know of a school district that currently does that?
I'm not aware of it, but I think we could do it right here in Utica, New York.
I don't know how you do that.
We'll do it. We'll figure a way. Where there's
All
a will, there's a way. No will, no way. A will, there's a way.
All right. I'm not sure that is possible, but anyway, I'll look into that. But I don't know why. I mean, my wife has taught in New Hartford, and most of that time we lived in Ilion.
Right.
And my wife is an awesome teacher.
I believe that.
Why would you want to limit yourself to not being able to hire awesome teachers because you're requiring?
No, I'm not requiring them.
They move.
I'm going to give them incentive. It's a free will decision. We're going to say, if you want to live in Utica, here's what we'll do. We'll give you this incentive to live in the city of Utica. I'm not mandating it. I'm just going to give them an incentive.
All right, but back to the teachers that you have currently.
Right.
Do you feel those teachers are lacking? They're not really.
No, I think Utica has good teachers, but I think we could continue to improve the quality of the teaching in Utica.
Okay, all right. Manaski.
What is your take on the situation right now with, I guess, what is he on paid leave? Bruce Karam. Where do you fall on this?
Well, for Bruce Karam, obviously it's got to be adjudicated. So at this juncture, the only thing I could tell you when I'm on the school board, if I'm on the school board, if I'm elected on the school board, then I'll have all the data to make an objective decision relative to Bruce Karam. At this juncture, I don't have the data at hand to make a determination.
What about
the
audio that we've played?
Well, one thing I could say about Bruce Karam is this: that people that support him think he's a great guy, and they don't like Habaika. Habaika's a bad guy, and people that support Habaika think Habaika's a great guy and Karam's a bad guy. There's got to be something in the middle. Something in the middle. There has to be some type of middle road. Everybody seems so polarized in this issue.
Yeah, but that's a cop-out.
I don't think so.
Well, it is. Because,
I don't think so.
Because I know criminals that people like. And it's like, I got to tell you, Hitler was a nice guy. I mean, there are people who liked Hitler. and then there are these people that like the Americans who didn't like Hitler, or the Jews did not like him at all. Here's the thing, though. Does that mean... Well, both are a little bad.
No.
There's got to be something in the middle.
It's not a cop-out.
And by the way, I'm not comparing, by any means,
I understand.
Bruce Karam to Hitler. Just for the record, I'm not doing that. But that's not a good way. I mean,
I personally agree. I don't think it's a cop-out. I don't have the data at hand to make a determination. Let the Lord be the judge. We'll see what happens when I'm in the school board. Let the courts make the determination. If Bruce Karam made some statements that haven't been proved to be accurate, even if they are accurate, let him be censored.
Listen, do you want me to play the audio for you? Have you heard the audio?
I heard part of it, yes.
I mean, is calling people...
Listen,
go
ahead. I'm listening.
In an administrative meeting,
all right,
with all of your administrators, calling one of your administrators a homosexual slur using the F word.
Right.
Is it okay to be calling, why are all these women around here fat and ugly? Is that okay? I mean, that's
personally not the type of words that I would.
You wouldn't call someone that.
But he's human. He made a mistake. He could. I'm sure that.
So you're defending him.
I'm not. I'm defending him as the statements that came out of his mouth. He's accountable for those statements. I'm saying that I'm sure he should be censured perhaps or make an apologetic statement. But that is not a reason to dismiss the superintendent. I don't believe.
What about if...
I don't think that's a reason to... If there's other criteria, fine. But everybody's human. I've made a lot of bad mistakes in my life personally as well. I've made statements that I wish I could take back, but unfortunately, we're human. You make statements. They're bad. Bruce Karam had a high-power position job, a high-stress job. He, unfortunately, made statements he shouldn't have made. But we're all guilty of that. I'm sure you are too, Mr. Keeler.
I don't ever say anything bad.
Couple questions here from the listeners. Can you ask your guest why he references the racist dog whistle CRT in his commercials? As Bill has pointed out before, CRT is not taught in our local elementary and high schools. Will you react to that?
First of all, it's being introduced, perhaps.
It's in your commercial.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So it's introduced. They're debating it now. They're talking about it. Okay.
No, they're not.
Based on my understanding.
Yeah, but your understanding is wrong. Based on the
it's been a communication amongst the board members. Based on my understanding,
they may be communicating. The board members can't institute that. That would come out of New York State, number one, and it is nowhere in New York State is CRT being taught.
It's all
in
semantics.
New York State.
Semantics. CRT, critical race theory. There's different ways of teaching racial education in our schools. So it's semantics. What's CRT? What's not CRT? The bottom line is when we teach, we have a history of slavery in this country.
If I could, what is CRT?
Anything that undermines the core principles of this very, very great country that we live in. The people shed their blood. World War II. My father was a veteran from World War II. If you want to teach the history of America, our sinful past, fine. Talk about anti-Semitism. Talk about slavery. Talk about the Ku Klux Klan started out as an anti-Catholic organization.
Yeah.
But don't undermine the core principles of this great country.
But that's not CRT.
No, that's part of it. I'm telling you right now,
It is.
sir.
What is CRT?
It stands for critical race theory.
But what is that?
It's teaching the history of slavery and the oppression of the black people. But part of that core principle, that teaching, is undermining the very core traditional the core values of this great country.
Okay.
That's the aspect that I don't like about it.
No one, to be honest with you, no one really knows what CRT is.
Well, it's semantics. It's semantics.
Okay.
Semantics.
So when words like inclusion, would you say are dog whistles for CRT?
Inclusion.
Shouldn't we all be inclusive?
I believe in inclusion.
Yeah. You're a religious man.
I believe that we should respect all human beings.
Okay.
Period.
I'm not going to hammer you on that, but I do think it's irresponsible to put that in your commercial.
I don't think it is.
Well,
I think it's a problem in our school district that they're even talking about it. Because let's have an American civics class. If you want to talk about, let's build this great country up rather than tearing it down.
But it's not being taught in our schools. But you're putting it in your commercial that it is.
It's on the way. Let me put it.
It's coming.
It's
so
on the
you're
way. It's
preemptive.
coming. It's coming.
Preemptive.
I'm
commercial.
preemptive.
All right. Okay.
So,
fair enough.
Boy, you got the. I'll say you guys. You guys got the comments rolling in here this morning. All right, I have another one here. Ask Mr. M about his number one focus listed in his brochure: parental control. What does that mean? Also, controlling wasteful spending. Is that part of the CRT discussion?
No, not at all.
Okay, parental control.
Well, it isn't parental control. I want parents to be involved. When I'm canvassing cities of Utica, north, south, east, and west, parents feel left out of the process. I believe that parents have to be more involved in the decision making of their schools. I want to set up a parents' council elected by the parents to represent their interest of the students, and I want them to meet regularly with the principal.
Mr. Matosha.
Because there's an interchange of ideas.
Mr.
There has
Matosha.
to be involvement with the parents.
You just described the Board of Education.
Not really.
You have.
Isn't
Not
there
really.
a PTA though? Also,
There are PTAs. But that's different.
No, but nothing is being accomplished with
But
PTAs.
my point-
Right now, there's things going on in Utica
Okay.
Public School that parents are not happy with
But
and
a
not
board-
being involved. And I could give you examples
But
if you want.
hold on.
You want examples? I'll give you all you want.
I do. But what you're saying is to form a council to advise the council that we formed.
No.
The council that we formed is the Board of Education. You are walking, living proof that anyone can run for the Board of Education.
I'm not saying
and
that.
then get elected by the members of the community and then give advice and make decisions based on the district. You're describing adding another Board of Education to advise the Board of Education.
This is based on a parish council of the church. You have a bishop, you have a priest. Then they have a parish council that meets regularly with the priest. And what we are is a parish council and advisory committee. So I'm saying, why don't we develop an advisory committee with the parents to meet regularly with the principal, to communicate with the principal, the superintendent, and the school board. This is what the parents want. We have to understand, parents are the taxpayers, okay? They're the employees. The employees of the school are the teachers, the administrators. The parents are the employers.
So you want the parents
I want
to
more.
be
I don't want it. The parents want more involvement.
But
I'll give you a perfect example.
Should we just get rid? Then we should get rid of the Board of
No,
Education.
I love the Board of Education.
Why have it?
Let me give you.
If we're going to elect a new committee that's going to advise the principal.
Let me give you a good example.
Okay.
We have Muslim students in the Utica School District during Ramadan. Okay, they are forced to be in a lunchroom while other children are eating. If there were parental involvement, that would not be taking place. Those kids should not be subject to eating, being in the cafeteria while other children are. It's a disrespect for their faith. It's a disrespect for who they are as human beings. If parental involvement was part of the school process, not the PTA, that's a pacifier. They don't accomplish anything. I'm talking about a committee, a council, interchange regularly with the principal. This is what we demand. This is what we want. It's an advisory committee.
Well, you're creating a disaster. But
no, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
You think I'm creating a disaster.
No,
I'm
I
not
know
creating a disaster.
I know
it's a difference of opinion.
Well,
I don't even think it's an opinion. I think it's a no-brainer, to be honest with you.
That's how I feel about my opinion. It's so funny. It is so funny. We're the same people.
In a sense, we are.
Just a little different.
This is like comment after comment after comment is coming in.
Okay.
All right,
hold on. I just wanted to take a deep breath. There's a lot coming in here.
That's all right.
There's a lot. I just want to know, what would this council be able to accomplish? And if they told the principal to do something, would the principal have to do that?
Well, let me give you an example.
I'd
there
love
was
that.
called to our attention recently in Donovan Public School.
Okay.
There are books in that library that are unconscionable for young children, especially at that age.
Okay. What age is Donovan?
6, 7, 8, is it? Or 7, 8?
Okay.
Yeah, so what it is, how these books got into this library, and any reasonable person would say these books should not be here. So there has to be some type of oversight, administrator that checks the content of these books before they go into the library. I'm talking, even the most liberal, progressive extremists would say these books are unconscionable for children at this age.
What examples?
They're sexual content books. It was
Sexual
brought
books.
up at the last question and answer meeting in West Utica. Extraordinary content about
Like Huckleberry Finn, that one is one that people say should maybe not be in there because some of the
these
words.
were as bad as Larry Flint, Hustler.
Oh, so they were Hustler.
Well, worse. I mean,
Wow.
they talk about sexual content that I'm even ashamed to talk about over the radio, to be honest.
Have you ever read a Hustler magazine?
No.
I would be careful with that comparison.
Has anyone ever read a Hustler magazine?
I am not ashamed to say I've read a Hustler magazine, and I can assure you there are no Hustler books in the school. I would guarantee.
I would probably agree there's no Hustler book.
Okay, all right.
So someone is saying
You didn't answer though. What power would this council have?
Well, they would, first of all,
Would
you
they be able to? Would this group of parents be able to say, "I want book 1, 2, 3, 4,
No,
5"?
I'll give
Those
you an
books
example.
are gone.
Let's talk about the Muslim issue. All right, the advisor come in and say, look, this ain't fair. These poor Muslim students during Ramadan, they're fasting. They have to be in the lunchroom with the kids while they're eating. So they would come to talk with the principal. That would be a food to digest amongst the superintendent, the principal, and the school board. And then you make a determination based on that advisory. It's an advisory capacity of. How can anybody argue or refute the logic of that?
I know.
So
I
my
do not
point
understand though what power the advisory group has.
Advisory. What's advisory group do? They advise.
So
People that are reasonable listen to the advice of people that they're
But what
asking
if they
for
don't?
advice.
What if they don't listen?
That's life, I guess. The reality
So
is
they would have no power.
No, because the ultimate power lies in the hands of the superintendent and
Okay.
the principal. My
Right.
point is, it's a logical conclusion that a reasonable person, a principal who has to be a reasonable person, the superintendent who is reasonable, and the school board members who are reasonable are going to listen very carefully to what
Okay.
the Parents' Council has to suggest.
All right, I am speaking. We have John Martosha, who's running for school board. We have a lot of questions coming in for you, John. I might even go over for you. This might be. Go ahead.
Someone is asking that they. I don't know how to. I'm just gonna. Were you paying people to put up signs? That's what somebody's
No,
alleging
I would
here.
never do that. No.
Is that wrong to do? Is that a bad thing to do?
No, but I really respect the people that give me the opportunity to put their signs on their property.
You mean paying people to allow the property use
No,
their property?
I don't do that. I just respect the people that support me enough to allow me to put a sign.
Can I
it
ask
takes some degree of courage, to be honest with you.
To put a sign up?
Yeah, for some.
Sure.
Yeah, they don't want to get involved.
And I want you to know this, even though I may not agree with you,
right?
And I do disagree with the commercial. I feel your commercials. The CRT thing really bothers me. But
That's
anyway,
fine.
we can move beyond.
That's.
I do appreciate anyone who puts the time and effort and money and whatever it takes to get into public service like you're doing here. So even though I disagree with you,
all right.
I appreciate.
We agree to disagree.
But I appreciate what
Thank
you're
you.
doing.
I appreciate that.
I do kind of.
I appreciate your questioning me the way you are.
I want to ask you about Sue Arcuri.
Yeah.
Some terrible things she has said.
Right.
And she has written and she is accused without any bit of proof because there is no proof. Would you agree that she should not be elected to the board?
I cannot make a determination. Me and Sue are two different people, that's up to the voters to make a decision, not for me to make a judgment.
Would you vote for her?
I'm gonna vote for myself.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure who else I'm gonna vote for.
All right.
So I'm not gonna vote for Joe Bike, and I'm not gonna vote for Cooper. That's for sure.
Okay.
Because they're a little too left for me.
And you support and you do support bringing Karen back. You
I don't
feel that
know,
that is not
at
this point.
At this,
what
again,
you know,
let me reiterate.
Okay.
I have to get on the school board and look at all the criteria and make an accurate determination. At this juncture, it would be foolish for me to make a determination on what I would choose to do with Karen. I don't have the information in front of me to make that determination.
Based on the things that you've heard him say on the recordings, which you've heard,
right?
should he be on the? Should he be the administrator?
I'm not a judge. Okay.
Okay.
You want me to judge
Well,
somebody based on some poor statements? I can't do that. I won't do that for you. I would never. I will stand up for you if you make poor statements. What Karam did.
Should Joe Habaika be on the board?
I think that there's better people than him. That's all I can tell
you just judged Habaika, but you won't judge Karam. I don't understand that.
I know exactly where Habaika is coming because I've been in question and answer sections of Mr.
You don't
Habaika.
like Cooper. You wouldn't vote for Cooper.
Because I've been in question and answer sections of Mr. Cooper.
But
I've never had a communication with Mr. Karam where I understand his perspective. I don't know all the details in which he is temporarily suspended. It's going before the court. Why are you asking me? Let the judge make a determination.
I am only saying, based on the audio you've heard.
I told you I don't agree with the statements he made, but I'm not going to. Let him without sin cast the first stone. That's all I could say.
Okay, I just think you're judgmental.
I'm not judging him. You're judging Karam, not me.
No, I'm
Let
not.
him without sin cast the first stone. I have nothing against Karam. I have nothing against the interim superintendent. Let the courts make the proper determination and the elected school board make the proper determination at that juncture when they have all the information available. Then you can make an intelligent decision. As of now, you're asking me to make a determination without the data. I can't do it. It'd be foolish for me to do so.
Okay, fair enough. But I want you to tell you when I close my eyes, I listen to your voice. You sound like the father on Mrs. Maisel. I love that show.
I don't know anything about this show.
And you're not Jewish. He's Jewish, but your speech pattern sounds like his.
Like a Jewish.
All right, more questions.
I like that. I consider it a compliment.
I'm just saying, just my observation.
This is, I guess, just a statement here, not a question. The parents contact the board members, and they are your representatives. That comes from Sue in Utica.
That's the part that I don't understand. Why there's a need for a parents' council when you have a board of education?
Well, because
what will you be doing if you get elected?
Again, not to reiterate, I don't want to be redundant and saying that it's an advisory committee of parents that are regular communication with the principal, representing. They are elected by the parents. So why don't we get rid of the parish council in church? It's the same principle.
Yeah, but there is no board of education at the church.
You have the bishop, you have the chancery. Yes.
Yeah, but those are administrators.
It's
the board of education is a community.
But I can understand. We have to look at this objectively. We can't look at it subjectively.
Okay.
Look at it objectively and see the merit in what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm saying. You can't argue with the logic.
But what if I don't see the merit? I can't argue with the logic of it. I can't believe you just said that.
You can't argue with
I just want to say, in his analogy, I do think there is some type of a civilian advisory council in the church because they're like, no meat for 40 days. And then they're like, well, how about just Fridays? Like, there's like a negotiation, I always feel.
But Jeff, okay, just for the record, that's true. but there is no board of education. There's a community board already elected.
No, I just wanted my no meat on Fridays joke to get in.
I'm not disagreeing with you. No, I heard a lot of bad things about Mr. Keeler, but I actually like the guy once I meet him. He's a reasonable guy.
Yes.
We're debate. We could agree to disagree.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming in, by the way.
I find you a likable guy, believe it or not.
I thank you for that. Could you talk to my wife? Would you? Because she needs to hear that. All right, what else do we have?
We have a couple of commercials here. Otherwise, one of us is going to be in a meeting this afternoon.
All right. We're going to wrap it up with you. I'm going to go a little extra and wrap it up. We're going to play some commercials and give you a chance to wrap up and say what you... He's going to do the commercials.
Actually, it looks like one of them's for Mr. Martosha, actually.
Do you want to just skip your commercial, or do you want
to do a live commercial?
We should play. All right, well, let's play it, and then we'll analyze it afterwards.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
It's the greatest pop rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2023. August 2nd at the Stanley Theater. Starring the Turtles, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett and the Union Gang, the Vogues, the Classics 4, and the Cowsills. Get tickets at the Stanley Theater box office, Ticketmaster.com, or by calling 315-724-4000.
Hi, I'm John Martosh, and I'm running for the Utica School Board because I'm concerned about our children's education. The Utica School District ranks one of the lowest in New York State exams for math and English. Despite this poor performance, the current school board president, Mr. Habaika, wants to be reelected to continue to do more of the same. We have great teachers, but many say retaliation is the administration's response to teachers who pointed out needed changes. I will support parents, teachers, and administrators who want their voices heard when it comes to what their children are being taught. As I go door to door, parents tell me they want increased safety for students, transparency concerning the Utica School Board's $243 million budget, and concerns over the implementation of CRT. I, John Martosha, respectfully ask for your vote this Tuesday so I can help bring the changes, the accountability, and progress in improving graduation rates in our schools. It's a very important election, and I would greatly appreciate your vote.
For your financial advice to be useful, it needs to be tailored to how you live your life. I'm Jim McGuire, branch manager of Baird's Utica office. At Baird, we provide investment and financial planning for all areas of your life: retirement, family, and estate plans, and charitable giving. Plus, we coordinate our advice with your tax and legal advisors, so you can be confident all of your plans are working together for you. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdUtica.com.
Spring is on the way, and if you're looking to make the most of it in a new RV, camper, boat, or trailer, then look to Mohawk Valley FCU. Right now, you can get up to 120 months financing for as low as 5.74% APR for any new recreation vehicle. That's 120 months of financing for as low as 5.74% APR. Go to MohawkValleyFCU.org for more info and to apply today. Mohawk Valley FCU, member focused, member driven.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
WIBX Utica Rome, and in studio right now. Before I do have to do one thing, a couple of quick things before I get to you, but in studio right now is John Martosha. We're going to go over just a little bit here with John. I promised him that I would give him a little extra time here. And I want to tell you about River Hills Properties. If you're selling your home, John, if you're selling your home and you need a real estate agent, I'm going to tell you the people at River Hills are wonderful. And what they do is all the extra things that they can do for you to assist. River Hills Properties, they begin at the very start when you decide to sell your home, and they stay with you, working for you every step of the way until the closing. That includes every time your house is shown. Your listing agent is there to keep an eye on things, to answer questions, and to make sure the lights are on, you're putting your best foot forward, and there's not people walking through your home without anyone there representing you. That's the River Hills way. It's the things they do to assist you and lower the stress level of selling a home. In Barnaville, Little Falls, and Utica, online, it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com. Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. John Martosha is running for school board. I know. Do you have any other questions there that you want to hit
checking
with?
Here. Sorry, it's taking a second to load. No, we're good.
I want to say happy birthday.
John recently beat Joe Hobica in an election. Is Bill doing a Hobica ad? That's from Lance and Lee. Lance is very sour this morning.
Thank you, Lance. By the way, my mother, happy Mother's Day to my mom, who's texting in this morning and said, you have a stress test today. Don't get yourself too excited. All right. I do have. I don't know what that entails, but that'll be interesting. Okay. Again, your talk a little bit, if you could, about people have said that you carry a sign at the Planned Parenthood.
Oh yeah. I'm a right to life advocate. I've been doing it. Let's say I'm 66. I've been doing it for about 23 years, and I love children. I love the born. I love the unborn. I love children. That's why I want to get involved in the school board, because I want to continue to give them that love as they come out of the womb. And one of the best compliments I've ever heard in my entire life, I've been out there for 23 years, was a young woman that was going to Pratt Munson Williams Proctor Institute, now called Munson.
Yeah.
Anyway, this young woman was on the opposite sides of the issue. I mean, she was very pro. I call it pro-abortion. She calls it pro-choice. And she said, John, one thing I got to admire about you, I don't agree with you at all, but I admire that you're a person of conviction and courage, that you continue to believe in what you believe and you do what you do. And I want to thank you for being that person of courage and conviction. So I'm going to bring that same courage and conviction to the school board. And so I believe in what I believe in. What I believe in, I will die for. And like I say, I'm a person of conviction.
All right.
So I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but
No,
you
no,
asked me a
that's,
question, so I had to answer it.
And that is kind of what I said to you. Although I don't agree with you, I appreciate what it is that you're doing, because not everybody is willing to do that. And that's why I kind of worry about what you say about your advisory committee, because it's I don't know how you get the people to be on an advisory committee when it's hard. School districts, and Utica's probably, since they stream it live, which is something that I believe Hobeika really pushed, which I think that'd be one thing you would agree with.
Yeah, I agree with that, of course.
That he did. But they get a lot of people that watch that.
So,
and I think that's good, but I think it's hard to get people to come to board meetings.
Yeah, I think it would be a difficult process, and that's why it would be something that we would debate how to go about getting this committee together.
Okay.
Let's say, the committee is an idea. It's something that through God's grace it can manifest into a reality, but there's other ways too. You could have a parental advocate in every building. I would be a strong supporter of a parental advocate in every building, and also a regularly scheduled parental conferences with teachers, principals, and support staff.
Aren't there already a parent can reach out to a teacher at any time?
There has to be some type of structure. It's just reaching out on a random. It's fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disputing that, but there has to be some.
Do you want to mandate these?
Not mandate. It has to be some type of regularly organized parent involvement with the administration, the superintendent, and the school boards. And there currently isn't on the level that I'm looking for. Because this is what the parents are telling me they want. This is not John Martosha saying we got to have parental involvement. The parents are telling we need to be more involved in what's happening in our schools.
And they so are. That's the thing that kills me is they really are.
So are.
They are. They really are. A parent.
I love you, man.
I don't know
you
why.
Come up with these things. Where do you come up with?
Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something. But a parent can always reach out to the teacher. They're given the curriculum before every. They can call and ask for that. They would receive it.
Bill, I love you, but we're talking about structure. I want more of a structure.
I understand. But all of this already exists.
Okay.
All they have to do is make the phone call. I don't understand that.
It's not as structured. Bill, you told me to be here at 8:30. You didn't tell me, John Martosha, come up sometime next week. It was a structure. I showed up at 8:30 today. That's what I'm looking for, structure with the parents. Let's call it parental involvement.
All right.
Not parental.
I'm not going to argue with you about it, but
somebody just commented, and I mentioned this earlier, that there are PTOs that exist.
PTOs, and I just can't tell you enough how I want to say this. Years ago, when they developed school districts,
well, let me ask you a question.
Can you let me finish?
I'm sorry, Bill.
Years ago, when school districts were developed, not just in New York, but around the country and probably around the world, the idea was we want a school district. We want parents to be involved. So we're going to have community members, parents, taxpayers, etc., who will run for school board positions. And it will be the school board that actually the superintendent will work for the school board. And so the community will basically guide the school district. And, of course, New York State will have its mandates and its requirements. And they will set basically the standards.
Right.
So what you're describing already exists, and you're currently running for a position on that school board.
I disagree with you. The people of Utica tell me they want parental involvement. So I represent the people of Utica.
Okay.
They tell me they want strong student code of conduct. It needs to be enforced. I represent the people of Utica. I'm a public servant if I'm elected to that position. I have to represent the parents and the taxpayers of the city of Utica, and I'm just vocalizing what they're telling me they want. And I think we need a structured parental involvement in the school district that they feel shut out of. And I could give you many examples.
All right.
Okay, I already broached a few of them. One of them is the Muslim students who are forced during Ramadan to eat in a lunchroom.
I don't know anything about that, so I don't want to get into that, but I'll ask.
Is there parental involvement if that is allowed to take place? The books that are in the middle school, Donovan Middle School.
Okay.
They're
you want to be able to get rid of books?
Reprehensible. So if the parents are involved, those books wouldn't be in the school. I'm saying they're not involved.
Yeah, the last thing I want is the last thing I want is to put the parents in control of burning books. Absolutely not. That would be horrible. But, John, somebody asking the question for the Utica School District, what have you done for the Utica School District or school involvement prior to running for the board?
Well, I've always worked with children my entire life. Number one, I don't want to sit here and pat myself on the back, but I've done thousands of hours of volunteer work with Thea Bowman, which is a program in Utica that
Specifically, the question is about the Utica School
I
District.
pay a lot of school taxes, number one.
Okay.
And,
All right. Simply somebody asked the question.
Right.
And did anyone recruit you and ask you to run for school board?
I was asked to run it. I'm not a politician. This was a uncharted territory for me. I went into the zone in which I don't feel comfortable going into, but I feel that it was a calling. I really care about children, and I feel that I could bring.
Who asked you to? I guess the question is who asked you to run?
Who asked me? A gentleman by the name of Steve Piacentino.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. That's the Constitutional Caucus.
He's a member of the Constitutional Caucus. Yes.
Okay. He was the gavel guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Order.
Very, very nice gentleman, Steve.
So I'm telling you, we set a record here this morning with questions, comments.
You hear that? I set a record.
You're a magnet.
Vote for me, man. I'm the guy.
You're a magnet. There's all right. Anything further, and then we'll wrap it up.
I think we've covered all these issues.
Okay.
You want me to
you can wrap it up. Yep.
Say goodbye.
You can do that.
Yeah. My name again. I appreciate your vote on Election Day. John Martosha. I have a website, johnmartosha.com, and I thank Mr. Keeler. I actually like Mr. Keeler. I actually love him, and I love Jeff. They're good people.
Thank you.
I'm glad they brought me to and I'm glad that I came because people say, oh, don't go there. They're going to. This was beautiful. I love this interchange. So I have a lot of respect for Mr. Keeler and Jeff, and I'm glad that I was invited.
We love this, too.
And I pray that you vote for me. Thank you. Amen.
Right. Can I just say that John showed the courage that a lot of people running for office or guests do not show.
And what
that's
is
to
that?
come
What is
on
it?
to come on and have a conversation when you know that not everybody in the room is going to agree with your opinion or your thoughts on something. So I appreciate you very much for doing that, John.
Yeah, we are. Be careful.
We're still on. Yeah. But I want to say, John, I appreciate you very much for doing that.
Too, Jeff. I appreciate Mr. Keeler. This has been a lot. I never had this much fun since I was a kid.
Okay. All right. And so you're a big endorser of the Ricola cough drops. You seem to be really liking
to keep my mouth
Ricola.
Nice and, Ricola.
All right. Okay.
Ricola. Cough drops are so good.
Thank you, John. Good luck, and everybody enjoy the weekend. Happy Mother's Day to the moms. Brian Kilmeade is next on WIBX.
It's the greatest pop rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2023. August 2nd at the Stanley Theater. Starring the Turtles, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett and the Union Gang, the Vogues, the Classics 4, and the Cowsills. Get tickets at the Stanley Theater box office, Ticketmaster.com, or by calling 315-724-4000.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractor, we are pleased to partner with Alfred State University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Alfred State is proud to strengthen our long history of working with unions to create non-traditional pathways for career advances in the skilled trades.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Hi, I'm Joe Carbone. Welcome to Harley-Davidson and Power Sports of Utica. 35% off or 2-for-1 on all boots, hoodies, and big and tall. First bike night of the year, May 12th, with showtime, piggy pants, plenty of cold beer. We'll see you there. Welcome to